I mean, you know, we've gone a little bit over time. We want to thank our guest. That was a lot of fun there. And yeah, it's...
What are we eating, by the way?
I don't even know what's for lunch. You want to quickly check it out? Okay,
kill
a second here and I'll find it. This week's...
The second I will kill.
Oh, here we go.
I'm out of silver. Silver hit the high.
All right.
I took that one out.
Well, I've already found it.
Up, we're going to short. And now we see what is for lunch.
Okay, well, today is Monday, right? So today's Monday, December the 1st. So let's go over what's quickly. We have 5 minutes over here, and everyone's got to get to the big guys over here. And it is today pretty good, man. We hit the chicken dinner winner, so we're not going to do that again. But if you've had some trades today that are winners, you may enjoy a teriyaki glazed chicken. Not bad. With roasted potatoes, seasoned veg, and a chopped green salad.
That'll play.
That'll play. That's all right. I think we can, you know, we could definitely survive some of that. So teriyaki glazed chicken, roasted potatoes, and seasoned vegetables to have yourself a nice, healthy, kind of sounds dinnerish, but nice, healthy lunch there. So, all right, Neil. Good day today. We're really happy with the performances, obviously, of some of these markets. Holding out. I mean, the Nasdaq going out only down 0.3. Will it get to Greensville by the time you see us again? Maybe. We shall only find out.
Won't, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm short the market. We're short Micron, and we've been doing fine. So thanks again, Kevin O'Leary there, and BitZero CEO for joining us on a eventful day. So, all right, Neil, thanks for that. Thanks for everybody for watching. Hi, Mom and Dad. Hope you guys are well. Thanks to Dara for everything. Over to the Midday show.
Watching?
Well, I think they were watching that O'Leary thing. So
hi, Debs.
We'll see you very, very soon at 2 p.m. Until then, Sharif and Joe, ciao for now.
We're gonna take profits here, Joey.
Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. This handsome gentleman, it's your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif, and I'm already in 2 trades, but we're gonna have to do the shout outs because I know people are coming in a little bit late. There we go. Joey, why does Google do this to us? Why do they flip the names like this? I don't get it. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Basketball Boy. We got Mr. Bones PR. Got Anurag KC 526. She's already dropping cash in the chat. Right. Hangry Wife. We got the AC Queen. How about the Soul Queen? Crystal Castle. We got Davey B9. 11. Amoy. Disco. Who else, man? These names are moving too quick. We got Ashko. We got Michael Mendoza. Adrenaline Angels. Sure. DJ or Trader J. We got Wyatt. We got Aura Alpha, the OG. Kirk D, another OG. Patek. Yet another OG. Shout out to Blue Arrow. Who else, man? Christopher Ocean. X Badger, he be badging those people in the chat. Shout out to Levi, shout out to Tim, and one more here because it's really like a lot harder to read these names. Nicole, shout out to Nicole Harris in Hotlanta. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic long weekend. Hope you had a lot of turkey. You did your thing. You enjoyed your life. Good morning, Joey.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you for all the kind words as well, too. Aside from that, I hope everyone's having a fantastic start to the session. A little bit of a choppier one in a couple of names, and what am I referring to? That is going to be Intel. This is going to be our second attempt here on Tesla. We tried the long, and sure enough, it worked out early for us, but at the end of the day, we took that stop out there, and we didn't take anything other than what we're currently sitting in. Now, as for INTC, guys, what a chop fest on this one for the kid, but that's all right. We take our attempts and we get out of it. I had a hunch that it was going to be in play, but not specifically the price action that I was looking for, so I have no issues with what we had going on. We take the long at the break of the volume weighted average price. It doesn't work. I'm like, all right, is this going to be a potential short? And we take 3 attempts on that, and it was a no-go. So we struck out on INTC. And I told you, I mentioned in the chat, we're down a little bit, but nothing that we can't come back from. What I'm going to be keeping my eyes on right now is this potential breakdown in Tesla. Why? Because we're starting to head towards a neckline. And I mentioned before that in this market, it's not a bad system to have. Well, where's the neckline, you may ask, Joseph? And it is sitting right here. So multiple factors coming into play here. It's going to be roughly around your pre-market high, and then also a key support level from an intraday standpoint. 426.22 starting to come in a little bit, I'm going to be looking to add some more size here, guys.
All right, guys, let's get right down to it, okay? Because there's a whole lot moving. So let's start with the biggest, the baddest of them all, HAMA. It's more expensive. It's a lot more volatile, but it's got a good chart pattern right now. It's up 208% with a 1734 high, trying to get back above 15. What stands out to me, the glaring thing about this chart right now, at least where it currently is the lower highs, the unbroken lower highs since we've made that high day at 10:15 at 1734. Every successive crest has been a little bit lower than its predecessors. Be alert to that trend. It is finding support at a key technical area. Take a look at the top end of the initial bull flag. That is 13.5, 13 1/3. Lo and behold, we came in, we tested that almost to the T, and up into 15 and change we go. So it is respecting technicals, but it has a tendency, as you've seen multiple times over here, whether it's at 9 a.m. or at 10:15, to break down after making intraday highs. You have to be alert to that, okay? So that's number one. Number two, let's look at FLYE. This one is halting to no end, okay? Multiple halts to the upside. As a result of that, the volume's a little sparse on this one. 1266 high. We are halted to the downside for the second time in a row now. We're still above volume weighted average price, ironically, which is at 9 1/4. We're halted at 1989 with, as I mentioned, a 1266 high. Be on the lookout for that as well. I'm involved in IRBT right now, basically break even on the current amount in FTEL, FTEL. FTEL is going to have to hold up above $1.20. It is already breaking down below the volume weighted average price. This is a key area of technical previously resistance. Now let's see if it acts as support. I'm talking about this 1 1/4. Look at the interactions we had with that level in the opening print. So those are the three that I'm focusing my attention on at the moment, but they're by no means, or four, excuse me, the only ones that are moving. Take a look at HKIT, holding above VWAP, but continuing to put in lower lows and lower highs. QTTP, Neil brought us this one earlier in the pre-market. It has an unbroken downward channel. This could be the formation of the second bull flag. Bull flag number one started forming at 7:10 a.m. Prolonged period of consolidation right until about 9:30, so 2.5 hours of consolidation. And as we always talk about, no two bull flags created equal. Some of them have upward channels like the initial one, and then the one right now, we've got a downward channel in, so you need to be alive to that as well. So those are the ones I'm keeping my eye on right now with, you know, this one, W buy, barely holding on to its spot on the side chart over here. It had a breakout in the afternoon on Friday in the shortened trading day, and today it popped up a little bit in the pre-market. It is barely holding above VWAP now and may lose its spot on the coveted side chart if it continues to trend down. So those are the ones I'm going to keep my eye on. The ones I'm involved in right now, IRBT and FTEL, Joey.
Yes, Jay. You know, I'm curious as to what kind of investment requires you to stay up that late. But anyways, that's very interesting stuff, guys. What I was looking at, there goes Tesla to the downside. This one's starting to work out for us, guys. And you see that we punched through that neckline. Now we want to keep an eye out on the volume profile. But what I'm looking at here, guys, is the cues from a daily perspective. Now, what am I thinking? That was a beautiful recovery in which we've experienced off of those highs and the lows here. But what might possibly happen, and I could be totally wrong, we could blow this trend line out of the water and then continue to move to the northeast. But what I'm thinking here is we start to form somewhat of a lower high, and then we slowly start to curl over. Now, if that does happen, we're going to get a bunch of good names at significantly better prices, and that's what we want to do. Guys, I understand that Bitcoin's not performing well at all, considering, right, we have the likes of other names up multiple double digits, and Bitcoin is not doing anything whatsoever. It's lagging the Nasdaq, but just be patient, let it do its correction, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see numbers like 68,000. But aside from that, let's see if we can get this working here in TSLL. I do want to add some more size, but the Nasdaq needs to find a specific direction, and same with the Qs. We've been trading within this specific range for quite some time, the majority of the session. It's been about $3 or so, $3, $4. Now, once we break, then that's when you want to start to follow the volume and see where the participation lies. Right now, I think it's just a little bit choppy.
All right, man. Shout out to MF Dangerous. He's so dangerous. Dropping cash in the chat, $28. Well, we're not going to complain, obviously. Thank you very much, Mr. Dangerous, and that's very kind of you. Kind of a random number. Christmas gift idea for O'Leary. Stock certificate for OSCR. Let's go. Let me guess. Is trading at $28, Katina, man? Because that's how much they gifted. Let's have a look. Nah, 2. You get 2 there. Well, a little bit less than 2. Thank you very much, MF. Dangerous, kind of you there. And we'll definitely pass on the message. Thanks, Kevin O'Leary, for coming on today and giving us information that we all covet. All right, keeping an eye here on IRBT. We got 31s, just took some profits at 35, layering the orders. I'm made optimistic by this current candle holding a higher low. However, that's not the end of the matter. It's not enough to hold a higher low. We need to continue into higher highs. The only way to do that is to print a high above the prior candle, which takes us into 46s. Currently showing 33s. Let's pack our patience on this one. FTEL still holding at VWAP, and you don't also have a higher low. In fact, you have a current lower low on this candle, but it's trying to work its way back above the volume weighted average price. I add more if it prints anything above 136, 137. The reason I say that is that would be the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. So I want to be alive to that as well. And somehow, some way, I want to work into a trade here on HAMA. I haven't taken anything on this yet. My bias has been that the shorts, not the shorts, but the selling is still dominant right now because of the lower highs. We are starting to test that theory, though, because this 1045 candle took us into 1580. And then this latest candle here got into 77s. So if we can take out 80 and even better, 16, then we could definitely have a trend break on our hands here, and we could see the breach of the current high day, which is 1734. So I definitely want to be alive to that. Now, this one will turn your lights off real quick. Ooh. Real quick. This does dollars at a time. So if you're going to size into this one, make sure you are using sound risk management skills. And there goes 16, at least momentarily, down into 1550 we go, Joey. And that's what I'm saying. You can't trade this like a $1.35 name, a $2.50 name. This is moving how much those cost in any one move. So HAMA, make sure you are trading this carefully, and you've got a plan here. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. I want to set up on this one if it is warranted. Joe.
All right, good stuff, man. So here it is, right? So you're headed right towards this key support level. Let's see if this is going to break. The volume on the lower time frames is really starting to pick up. So there we go on TSLL. Sharif, it's already our first slapper. It was a slow start, but we can get things rolling at any given moment, sitting on your hands, being patient, and not getting worried whatsoever. But really, Joe, well, why do you say 68K on Bitcoin? Why are you putting in such a substantially lower number, $20,000 roughly, a little bit less, 16K from where we're currently trading at? Well, I think it's just going back to previous pivot highs. If this signal breaks in Bitcoin, then I think there's going to be some more downside. And which signal am I referring to? The largest volume print in over a year. And we've seen the same thing in the likes of IBIT, the largest volume print ever. So the momentum to the downside, I thought this was more or less going to be a breath before we take an additional leg higher, maybe retest that 100K. But if something's extremely weak, you're going to see these strong momentum moves to the downside. So we have to keep an eye out on potential more necklines being broken, and that's going to be that 78K level, which puts us roughly right at the lows of that previous volume print. Now, if those start to break, this is going to be the next level of possible support, in my opinion. Could we be wrong? Absolutely. But if we go back in history and take a look at what we've seen from before, you get a 77% drop in Bitcoin. That's minus 53K. So you're at 69,000. You go all the way down to 15, 16,000. And that's roughly going to be the same in which we're going to experience. That would put Bitcoin at more than a 50% haircut off the previous $126,000 high. Now, enough of that. Let's get into the Tesla trade, Sharif, because this is slowly starting to work. We're going to push a little bit out. We want to add more shares, but we'll be patient. Wait for the retest of the volume-weighted average price, and bang, there's our first positive out of the day, and we're going to continue to try and stick with this momentum, especially if the market wants to bleed.
All right, guys, a bit of an ill-fated trade here on HAMA, but we took a little bit out, got back out, stopped out, tried to get back in at 13. Now it's going to hold halt down. So watch out for this 13.25 level. That's where we're seeing the halt parameter, 1380, but I see support here at around 13.5, 13.25. Be careful with this one. It's still putting in lower highs. Keeping my eye, though, on IRBT as it comes into the volume weighted average price. That's currently 18s, 17s or 18s. Keeping an eye on that. I just got the ad there at 20s, but looking for this one to hold trend. FTEL, though, I don't know how I'm feeling about this one, Joey. This is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're currently in our 6th candle of lower lows. And this candle is a bit of a bamboozler. It actually made a higher high, but didn't close that way, and then proceeded to make another lower low. So what do we got on this one? On FTEL, we got 36s. It's 27, so we're 10 pennies out of the money on this one. Looking for support to come in, but not jumping in quite yet that aggressively. We have... hold on, what is this one? There's another halter to the downside. KXIN is halted to the downside. Yeah, I missed to mention about this one because it was breaking down quite aggressively. 586 high, it's losing VWAP, and it's down now into $3.92. It's lost kind of like all the different areas of support that I earmarked. So KXIN gonna lose its spot on my side chart momentarily, but FLYE, it breaches VWAP by a whole $1. 925 was where VWAP is. It drops into 825. Now it's halted up at 10 bucks. $9.97 is the halt price or the halt level right now, up 122% and looking to go more, man. So we're gonna keep an eye out on this one. Let's see if it can break above that $11 area. The $11 area is important. It halted there a couple of times. Sorry, once, and then it opened there on a down halt. So we'll see if it can breach 11. 11 probably an important level for FLYE. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now, looking for anything to pop up here. I got to tell you, when I got in and I looked at the small caps, I'm like, wow, today's going to be a good day. There's a lot running. And then a lot of them are breaking down almost simultaneously. So I'm starting to rethink that. Let's not get too aggressive too quickly because a lot of them were up triple digits, high double digits. So usually when they're like that, the pickings are not slim. And usually they're running pretty nicely, but it's starting to turn in a hurry here. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this. Don't want to put too much risk too quickly here, Joey. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm just talking with 2NY here. He's like, hey, Joe, I'm looking at ONDS, and I just don't really know which direction to go. And if it's that difficult for you to decide and you can't find the trade in which you were planning, say, over the weekend or in the morning, then it's just not setting up how you want it to do. And I think it's the best to just completely avoid it altogether until it does start to display some of the signals in which you were looking for and planned to trade. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands and being patient. I think that's a solid game plan. One thing to note here, guys, there's another indecision print on NVDA right around these highs. So if this level holds right around 178.40, then who knows? This trend can continue. I was thinking short this morning as well, too, on a lot of names, but holding up key support levels. The thing is, I think the market's just being patient before some of these necklines start to crack here. At 175, I think we can get 160s. Worst case scenario, you get 152 in, I mean, best case scenario, I think you can get 152 in NVDA. That would get you down 30%, right? Roughly 28% to be exact. And then I think a lot of people are going to start buying it at those levels. So be patient. What I've noticed over time is that it takes even though we think that we're going to flush relatively quick, with the exception in which we experienced not too long ago, sometimes it takes a lot longer and it will just continuously trap more bulls and then it will make that flush. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we get back from Adara.
Take a look at some of these rare earth plays. Here is MP Materials. You could also look at USAR, anything in this field. TMC could also be in watch. Department of Energy announcing $134 million in funding to strengthen rare earth element supply chain. So again, rare earth element supply chain funding coming from the Department of Energy. As such, we have here a pop in some of these rare earth names. MP of the ones I've checked making the best move.
All right, yeah. So this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. In the case of the overall market as well, too, it's just important to know that, hey, this just might be a little bit of a trap, and there's nothing wrong with that, because if the market continues to sell off, then you're going to get it at much better prices. And Sharif and I were talking last night, actually, we were just saying, man, I think this market has a lot more room to run. You just have to be patient and wait for those levels to come into play. You'll always get them. It's just the duration in which you have to wait for. So cash secured puts could be a good potential.
Man, that graph I sent you, I also sent it to Brendo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it has me rethinking everything. So what I sent him, and I'll show it to you guys in a second because it's in our group chat. is the relative performance of the Nasdaq versus Toronto real estate. So you guys know I'm saving up for a house, and this is calling into question my entire thesis. When you just look at the outperformance at whatever time period you're looking at, you want to look from 2019 prior to COVID, it's up markedly higher than the Toronto market. You want to look from the beginning of the decade or the beginning of the previous decade, I should say. There's just really no comparison. So as I was saying to Jody, I'm like, why am I saving all this money to pour into an asset that's not going to return? You know why people do that? Because they have that nice big shiny object to lord over everybody else.
Yeah.
I got the big house. I got the big backyard. I'd rather have the money.
Yeah, exactly.
To be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm at an existential decision at the moment.
I think what has to be taken into consideration as well too, Sharif, is just how many people have multi-million dollar mortgages that are just, it's so hard to hold. And to add to your point is like, okay, if you're not getting that steady appreciation within the market, then things can become substantially more difficult. We know when rate hikes, so a bunch of individuals who had variable mortgages, some of them being my friends, when you have such a low interest rate and then sure enough you go into QT, and their interest rates are continuously rising every quarter. It's like, oh man, you're not even cash flow positive at that point. Imagine adding another $600-700 onto your monthly mortgage payment. It's really hard for people to hold on to onto those things. And sure enough, a lot of people get liquidated and they can't afford. They have to defer their mortgage, which is not good whatsoever. But I think this is going to be a good ad opportunity here in TSLL, guys. We're going to be patient. If we break through VWAP, then we'll just get out of the trade. And then what we're going to be looking for is a failed new high. So if we come in and then around 1835 or 1840, we start to curl over once again, I'm going to be looking for a potential short on TSLL, even though we're already in that. It's just going to add more shares. We took a little bit off, nothing substantial, only 5% or so, looking for more downside in Tesla.
I like it, Joey. I like it. All right, HAMA, we're still holding a little piece over here, looking for this one to bounce. How much we got in HAMA? Just a couple. All right, looking for this one to hold, trend, pop up back into about 14 2/3, but it doesn't look like it's holding here, Joey. I think I'm going to let this one go. That downtrend is still unabated to the quarterback, trying to hold 14, a little above 14, a little bit below. I think that's where I'm going to let this one go over here. Still keeping an eye on our IRBT and FTEL. FTEL has kind of the same, or is suffering, I should say, from the same affliction it suffered from earlier, from around 9:30 to 10, which is a seller at $1.35 that they only were able to shake momentarily. You're able to shake them earlier in the pre-market around 8:50, and then again, of course, into that 11 o'clock time slot from, I want to say, 10:40 until we broke down below it at around 11. So that same $1.33, $1.35 seller still rearing his ugly head. Keeping an eye as well on IVDA. This one I had on the side charts, but I took it off because it was a better looker, but you guys reminded me about it. I do appreciate that. This one coming right back into the key area of technical resistance. I'm talking about that $1.45. The reason I say $1.45 is a technical area of resistance, look how many times we're able to print above it, all but 2. So keeping an eye on that one. I just got stopped out of my IRBT trade as it lost $2, so that's my line in the sand on that one. So right now, guys, we can't catch a win for the life of us. We are 0 for 3 to start the day. Hopefully, it will not continue this way. I've seen it like this before. Going to pack the patience now that we've taken a couple of hits and look for some better setups, as this is not the kind of small cap day I was kind of hoping it would be, as well as the one that I kind of thought it would be when we sat down, because there was just so many running. Let's look at IVDA on the trade screen over here, see what's going on with this one. That $1.43 is where we're trading at right now, but as I mentioned, that $1.45 seems to be where the real level of resistance is. This current candle does have a higher low, so if we get in here, we can base it on prior bar low, or our out, that is. So we'll keep an eye on that. Just starting with a small position here on IVDA, looking to get more into the 10 EMA, but if it loses prior bar low at $1.38, we're gonna have to stop out for a 5-penny loss. So we're gonna keep this one nice and tight, Joey. Not gonna make too many more mistakes, as we have already made mistakes. 3 of them, that is. HKIT popping back up into area highs. It doesn't trade on the NY, Sharif. There we go. HKIT was dropping below that $2 area. area as well as the volume weighted average price. It's breached all that now. It's made that 5-minute candle make a new high. It's above $2. So I want to keep my eye out on this one and look for a run up possibly into that 216, 220 area. 216 is the high of the day. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. And again, always, if there are any new small cap gappers that I don't have my eye on, just tag myself or Joey, let us know. We got Eddie, 100K profit on SLV, and he's dropping big money in the chat. Thank you for the $25 super chat there. Let's take a look at SLV.
Yeah. We'll get to that as soon.
Yeah, I got to concentrate on this. So up into $53 we go. This is huge. This is a monster couple of days. This thing's been running, I think, since the 25th. I don't really know where it was doing before that, but multiple day runner from the mid 40s up into the low 50s now. Hope you print out multiple storms. Shout out to you, my man. WCM Gatoon, $10 super chat. Thank you very much for that. GME, sorry, I know people think it's a meme. I see a different story. Profitable, lots of cash and earnings beat on tap for 12.9. Chart looks primed. Well, wouldn't be the first time people love GME on this stream. Let's have a look. Still trading below that, long time support area of $30. It hasn't been above that area in quite some time now. In fact, it looks like the support area kind of flipped from $30 back earlier this year into, looks like here, 22 for whatever reason. Joey kept defending that level, dropped below it into 20. Now we're trying to pump back above the 200 EMA on the dailies around 24 with the simple MA being about 24.60, so a little bit higher than that. What do you think of GameStop going into earnings, brother?
Yeah, let's take a look at this. I mean, now that Bitcoin's not performing relatively well, it's probably not going to be good for GameStop. Listen, I know you say the meme, you say you think otherwise. I'm going to stick with that. It's in the ETF, so as long as it remains in there. Am I in love with this name? Absolutely not. I'm just giving it to you straight, right? I mean, look how long this has been trading sideways. You go back to 24, that's a year right there. You do have these spikes where people are just getting squeezed out, whatever shorts it may be. But just look at the nature of this beast. And if you believe that it's truly going to skyrocket back up to $119, then by all means, continue to hold on to it. I'm just going to let you know that I don't have much faith in this specific name, and I don't want to crush your dreams or anything along those lines. I just want to give it to you as straight as, and this is my opinion. It's subjective, right? It can completely be wrong, and for your sake, I hope it is. But for me, I wouldn't be trading or investing in GameStop. I think that craze has come to an end. But we have another super chat, 250 smackers, Sharif,
big,
250 bucks
That's
from
big.
Eddie. Once again, gifting memberships as well too. This guy's absolutely on fire. Much appreciated. Congratulations on that 100K silver trade as well too.
That's big.
And yeah, I mean, you've been definitely at the top of the list right now as we're going to donations. And there goes another 50 memberships. So, I mean, hey, listen, dude, when you're doing something like that, the numbers that you're actually putting up do not seem false whatsoever. So, congratulations to you.
We wouldn't have thought that anyway, though, Joey.
No. Well, maybe sometimes, but anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you. But anyways, aside from that, man, keep doing your thing. It seems that you are rocking and rolling. And once again, thank you very much for all those memberships. You seem to be doing something right, my friend. So whatever it is, don't change it. Just keep elevating, and sure enough, you'll be all right. But as for Tesla, guys, we get out at the break even, waiting for a secondary breach of the volume-weighted average price, a curl over around 1835, and then the move back towards the lower end of the range. Once that breaks, then we're really going to start cooking up. And the market is taking quite some time to find a specific direction. All right, because we can see that the SPY still moving sideways. Nice. The thing is, though, with the Nasdaq performing a little bit better than what the SPY is from a technical standpoint, in my opinion. But other than that, we're still trading within that $3-4 range. Once that breaks, follow the volume and look for a trade based off of that. Now, if we are going to head towards the downside, which I think we are, you're going to see more choppy price action before that direction is definitive. Why? Because they're going to be absorbing liquidity, trapping the longs, and then sure enough, you will get that flush. So I'm going to stick with the short thesis on Tesla. Why? Because the daily is telling me so, and what I'm seeing from an intraday standpoint also giving me a little bit of confirmation.
All right, guys, thank you so much for the premium memberships. That's so kind of you. I always appreciate that, guys. And for those who got the premium membership, let me tell you, you guys can now get the morning note. Just head on over to the Trader TV homepage on YouTube. Click that posts area right there, so you default obviously is home. You drop into posts, and then Sharif's morning note right there. Just click the more. You hit that link right there, and it pops up. And I think we've got 14 stories on today, all comprehensive, guys. Shows you 3 key areas of technical support, 3 key areas of technical resistance. It gives you the full story as well as the market context in which the story fits, as well as a trader takeaway. And now the trader takeaway will give you the short-term view, so the intraday view, as well as a swing view, as possibly even sometimes we throw some investing looks into there. So make sure to get the morning note every single day, always released bright and early. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys, for the, or shout out to Eddie, I mean, for the 50 Trader TV live memberships, always doing the most in a great way. Shout out to Eddie.
Probably like 300 memberships.
I've seen that.
I've seen that in the
past week.
Yeah, last week when you were gone.
He was having a big boy week, eh?
Like 250 one day.
That's crazy.
Another 70 today. So I mean, shout out to Eddie, man. Yeah, I mean, it's some big, a lot of people asking how do we get, I have no idea how that's decided whatsoever, but.
I have no idea either. I think they're just like randomly, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. I don't think he's going through the list there. What was I going to do, Sharif? That's right. We're going to take a look at the top performing sectors here in the morning and see where we're going to see some relative strength. And it's going to be in the energy sector, leading the way up 1.14%. Materials sitting in second place. Did he just give more? Another 50 spot.
Yeah, there's 100 members. Okay, we gotta spend the money for this, man. This guy's. I'm like, why are all the memberships not already allotted? And there's more being allotted as we're speaking.
Sharif, can I say something?
Of course.
The money doesn't justify.
What do you need, Joe? You need that laugh, don't you?
No,
or
we need this.
Austin.
Come on, man. We're breaking.
Bro.
This guy's breaking glass left, right, and center. Sending all of those memberships. Let's go. You get the Austin 316 right there, guys. Once again, Eddie, much appreciated. Solid individual.
Absolutely.
As for the top performing sectors, we're going to be looking at the third place here, guys. That's going to be the show. Consumer discretionary up 1/3%. Healthcare sector, we're down 3/4, a little bit more. Real estate, we're down 1 1/10. And then utilities down 1.63% on the day. Sharif, tech sector down about 1/5%. Still not too bad. It can completely recover. Don't put this market behind you, because you never know. Just like that, you can recover and put in a 1% day. So be cautious. Wait for the big names to potentially break out, because they are extremely heavily weighted.
Well said. Still, guys, holding the same position as FTEL. Break even on it, but I do like how this one is trading. Ironically enough, this one is still at that key area of resistance at that $1.35. Thankfully, though, it is putting in some higher lows, so maybe we're accumulating for a break. I've layered my orders on this one, so if it does get a price spike up and not spend too much time in these price levels, hopefully I will get the print there as we put those resting orders out there separately. Continuing to watch IVDA, very small entry position, I should say. Not entry-level job, calm down. See, everybody's talking about AI taking those entry-level jobs. Joey, that's not a good look there. But
gotta watch out, man.
So IVDA looking for in an entry-level position, looking for that move into a $1.50. I could be persuaded to add a little bit more into that $1.35, really depending on what kind of price action I see down there. But for now, we're going to just keep the position that we have, and if we get a price spike of above 150, and most notably hold above 150, as it is often a key area of psychological resistance, I'll add more into this trade. Right now, though, I don't like any of the other ones that are setting up. Of course, we've got to talk about FLYE because it is halted up. So, you know, technically, there are really good trades right now, but this one is a little too rich for my blood, man. $12.81. It's a multiple halter. It moves dollars at a time, up 185%. That's all the good stuff. What's the bad stuff? Well, it has a tendency to, basically mean revert after making a high of day. Take a look at what we did at 1050. We pop up, we halt there at 1263, and when all was said and done, we were down to 822 before we started putting in the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. So that does concern me a little bit over here. So we'll keep tabs on that. How we doing, though, on,
How you doing?
How you doing? You know, I can't stand that show, bro. I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I can't.
I've been saying that. I thought you liked it.
No, I don't like Friends. I've never said I like Friends. I just like was kind of indifferent to it.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to notice when I find it on a channel, my immediate reaction is to change the channel.
Is throw the converter.
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not throwing converters. I save that for trading.
All right.
No, I'm playing. But I definitely not my favorite show. Just put it that way. I do like The Big Bang Theory. And funny enough, because it's always on Comedy Network or Comedy Central, whatever they call it, they're both on. And I'll keep it on when Big Bang's on, and I'll immediately change it when Friends are on. So that's the way it is there, Joe. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm going through the scanner right now, guys, to see if we can find any potential setups. I'm not a Friends guy either. I know it's a hot take. I don't like Seinfeld either.
Oh, I can't get behind that.
It's the music, man. It's that transition music. I'm telling you.
Man, there's great jokes on there, and it's like good observational humor. You don't like observational humor?
It's not funny. I don't think that humor is funny.
You ever notice this? You ever notice that you're not that kind of guy?
No, I don't.
So you like Chappelle humor then, where it's more made up stories.
Exactly,
okay,
exactly.
Fair.
So I remember I watched one episode of Seinfeld and it was about soup or something like that, and they were going on about
what?
soup. The
soup Nazi?
Yeah. Like that stuff is so.
What's going on here, bro? What's going on? You're trash
funny.
talking one of the most epic episodes of Seinfeld ever.
Listen. Hey, man, to each their own, I guess. At the end of the day,
that's blasphemous, Joey.
Yeah, I know it's crazy talk, but hey, man, to each their own, I guess. At the end of the day, so there it is, guys. Hood starting to recover a little bit. We're gonna just be looking for potential setups across the board. Nice, strong opening drive here in Rivian. Now starting to come back in, so potential bull flag here. Yeah, potential, man. We're gonna wait and see what comes into play. Amazon, what has it been up to? Again, a lot of these tech names pretty hot throughout last week, for you. But no soup for you, Joey. Yeah,
no BTC for you, Joey.
Hey, man, that's all right. I think I can survive with that. Now, if you lift that band in a couple of months, then I think we're gonna be okay. But aside from that, guys, Google also starting, like, it hasn't done anything.
It hasn't done anything.
Hit the do something, Assassino, immediately, because we need Google to do something at the end of the day. So from a daily perspective, though, guys, you're not going to go wrong. This is a mega name, and you go up 148%. Now you're starting to pull back. You're only down about 5%. You're not going to complain whatsoever. Come back into the 297, south of 300 in Alphabet, and I think a lot of individuals are going to be grabbing this name. But what's coming into play is this downtrend holding intact. Now, once this support level breaks, I think $18 is definitely going to be in the works, and we can watch this name start to trade a little bit lower.
Joey,
yeah,
I gotta ask.
Ask, brother.
Have you watched Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I haven't. No.
You haven't? Okay,
no.
So then we have no comps then. Okay, because some people were asking in the chat, they're like, Curb, right? Does he like Curb? Because it's the same type of dry observational humor, right? It's a little bit different because it's more like Larry David writing as opposed to Seinfeld. And by the way, Seinfeld's got two different flavors. There's a one where Larry David was writing, and then there was a one where he clearly left, and Seinfeld was writing. It became way more superficial rather than, elongated or, protracted storylines, protracted for a half an hour show, mind you, 22-minute show. But I definitely didn't feel it was the same flavor.
I liked How I Met Your Mother. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just something about Seinfeld that I didn't really like.
Okay, guys, let's talk about some of these trades. FTEL. Doing all right, man. Here we go. There's 37, so we've taken out 35. There's the print. Now we're showing 38s. Can we get a little bit high? Can we? Let's look for 140. That's where my next profit taker is. Separately, IVDA holding that $1.40 level, popping up to 148. We got the beak wet there. We've got 43s on. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher through that 50 penny level. Technically, the high of the day is 51, but as you can see on the chart, it really has had a hard time clearing 50 decisively, if really at all. FLYE is a freaking rocket ship. It's only done 2.7 million shares on the day, but it is up 220%. It just hit $15 at exactly the day high right now, dropping into 14.25. Let's see if it can hold 13. To me, 13 is the real resistance, previous area of resistance. Now, let's see if it acts as support. Why do I say that? Well, look at all these rejections. Bottom chart, guys. Bottom chart on my white charts will always be the 5-minute. Look how many times it rejected 13, and then boom goes the freaking dynamite up into 15. Like, $2 a move doesn't even matter. Down it goes again into 13. Is this a buy, Joey? Do you hit the buy button in front of blood like that? I'm not going to hit the buy button with that kind of craziness going on. But if it wants to settle down, this one may never settle down, so I may never get a trade on it, which is fine with me. Back into 14 we go here on FLYE. Let's see if we can clear 15. Separately, we're doing okay finally here on IVDAs. This one pops up into 48s, no profit taker until 50, and then we just got the beak wet again on FTEL at 39. Let's wait for that print at 40. I'm waiting at 40 and then at 43. And then there's a bit of a chasm there between my orders at 43 and into 53. Probably behooves me, given the amount of shares that I have on this, to put something in the mid to high 40s. So we'll be putting something there. But I do like the curl. The rounding effect off the volume weighted average price right now on FTEL. Let me show you what I mean here. So it looks like maybe this is what's operative at the moment, these higher lows. VWAP here, I don't want to base too much on it. And the reason I say that, I've said it before, but if you've heard this before, just do something else. But for those who haven't heard it, sometimes when you look at VWAP and you just juxtapose it to the price action, to me, VWAP here looks like a line of best fit rather than any area of support or resistance. Like, look at the price action here from essentially 9:45 until we break out above it till 10:35. It's almost an hour where VWAP was essentially almost a median price. It looks a little bit like maybe here we're getting a little bit of support at VWAP, but when you look at the closing prints, they're all south of the volume weighted average price. What seems likely to me here is it's holding a higher low pattern. If it holds that higher low pattern, that's it. That's something that I can trade off. So I don't mind looking at it from that perspective. And as I see it here, it looks like it's curling up to possibly take out 140. Let's see, where do we get? We didn't get the 140 print quite yet, so it didn't pop in. Seller at 38s here on FTEL. I don't want to wet the beak here, or should I? We have a lot of shares on this, Joe, so I'm going to wet the beak here. We'll take some profits there on FTEL. And that's all I'm looking at, dude. I mean, obviously, I'd like to get something into FLYE, but given the fact that I'm not doing that well on the day quite yet, I don't think it would be a good idea to take a swing at this one and then find myself, on the wrong end of the P&L. So I'm going to pack my patience when it comes to this, Joe.
All right, good stuff, brother. So yeah, I mean, guys, this is what I was talking about earlier, just not underestimating this market. A lot of us were thinking short. Something in the back of my mind was like, oh, okay, well, we were selling in the pre-market. Now, what does that usually tell us? We climb higher in the pre-market, you usually get a fade throughout the intraday. You trade a little bit lower, and sure enough, you're starting to get a rebound. So a high of the day on the Qs, a new high of the day on the SPY as well. And then we have NVDA starting to lead the race once again, heading towards the high of the day. Trend lines being snapped in the likes of Tesla, Hood now back at the volume weighted average price, and a name that I thought was going to be significantly more in play, which was essentially doing nothing for the first hour of the session, is now starting to climb back towards the high of the day. So key pivot levels, I'm going to be looking for potential fades because I'm just stuck in that mode, but I also don't want to be taking too many stabs at these trades that aren't going to work. And at some point, you have to come to the realization and the fact that, hey, your thesis from an intraday standpoint may be completely wrong, and you want to start to flip and then go with the flow. But what I was talking about is starting to come into fruition. We're starting to get that rebound in Tesla. Now, where am I going to be proven wrong?
Where?
At the break of 1845.
Okay.
If we fail to establish a new high of the day at that point, and then we have that base near the highs where we start to form a resistance zone and price slowly starts to curl over by constructing lower highs, then I'm going to take an additional short on this. But one thing to note is that the downtrend has now officially been broken on the 5-minute time frame, and you are now opening above that. So what do I do here, Sharif?
What do you do,
I don't
Joey?
want to fight anything. I just got to stick with the guns. And if the market is telling us to go long right now, guess what we have to do?
What do you got to do?
We got to go long.
You got to go long.
You got to go long.
You got to go
man.
long.
You got to go long.
I don't blame you.
No, I know.
If the market's telling you to do it, Joe, you got to do it.
You got to listen. Yeah, it gives you, it whispers sweet nothings into your ear.
I haven't heard sweet nothings in a hot minute, bro.
So once it's doing that, you don't want to be fighting it. That's for sure.
How the Christmas decorations doing, Joe?
They're good, man.
They're good?
I mean,
You add anything to them?
Yeah, I mean,
Anything new?
No, everything's still the same, yeah. I mean, I think it's time to start putting a couple presents under the tree.
Oh, those are the best times. Those are the best
But
times.
the issue is that the chances are is that Milo will eat the wrapping paper, so we might have to hold on to that. This guy's eating everything, man.
The joys of having a young dog.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I found in the storage unit? I was selling the winter tires for the Jag. Finally, yeah, I got them sold.
All right on.
So I found an old like small Santa Claus I had taken from my parents. It's like, hey, hi. Yeah,
That's your one decoration?
That's I used
You
to
got
put
the tree up yet?
I got the tree up yet, bro. I haven't even removed the other decorations to put the Christmas decorations. Just like my regular decorations that you got to remove to put.
Come on, man, get with the festivities.
Bro, I haven't done anything, man. But sorry. Yeah, no, I was on vacay, so hopefully next weekend, Joey, clean up the place and we'll get everything done there. Yes. Shout out to Aura Alpha, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you saying that. All right, here's the deal. Let's get right down to business here because FTEL broke through 140. We got the beak wetter. Now it has got a bit of an ugly topping tail candle if it was closed this way. This current candle high is 141. It's currently showing me 136, but we've been taking profits on the way up little by little on FTEL, looking for continuation into the $0.50 though. I like the chart pattern on this one, but I don't want to be too aggressive with where I add. I think the areas that I will add, if I add, because I have shares on this one, will be to hold that upper trend line that we were talking about earlier. So that's my focus on FTEL. IVDA continues to hold above the 10 moving average, exponential moving average on the 5. I put an order there to shadow where I see the 10 EMA. Let's see if we get that print. I don't know why I'm not getting that print. It's below 144. I just saw 43s come in. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but looking for some more on this one as we only have a smaller position to start. Nothing else doing on any of the other names though. FLYE still halted to the downside, nothing doing there. How's KALA? I said very little about KALA. Why is that? Let's go and put this one on the side chart and take off this other hot garbage over here. Yeah, guys, there's a new one here, man. KALA up 65%. It's off the high at 185. Great technical support. I don't know how I missed this one at 150. Look, if it comes back into 150 over here, it already glanced at it with this bottoming tail kind of doji candle. It got to a low of 152, holds up, and now it's showing 159. But I don't want to catch a falling knife given how I've traded on the day. I'm going to wait for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high here on KALA. Looks like a really good name with a good prolonged, I want to say, bull flag starting in the pre-market, and then you're getting the breakout here at around 1130. Whether or not it holds that previous area of resistance at $1.50 and then forms a second bull flag, your guess is as good as mine. We'll just try to put the odds on our side, and I'm going to put this one on a trading screen to see if we can kind of finagle a trade into this one. KALA is the ticker on the NQ. 1 penny spread, not too bad, and a substantial amount of volume, Joey. 104 million shares, 105 now, but that's a dollar name. So
I like that. I like that signal right there, man. Let's pull this.
I like that. I like how you're like getting into small caps lately, man. It's kind of pleasing to me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep an eye here, Joey, on KALA. It's up 67%.
Yeah, good look there. I like this potentially as well too. Just to touch on this a little bit more, I know Sharif's looking at it, but a nice indecision print at a key support level. So watch out for this high to get broken. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this one as Bitcoin's starting to come back in. Sir, could you please check out GEX levels on yeah, absolutely. On AMD for sure. We'll take a look at that for you momentarily. Actually, we'll do it right now because we haven't even pulled up the options chain today. So we will take a gander and see what we got on AMD. So essentially, we're going to take a look at some of this gamma exposure. I think that a lot of the activity is here, right? So on the December 19th expiration, that's all you have, essentially. So I'm curious as to why AMD is only monthlies. Very interesting. I don't know why you don't get weeklies in AMD. Am I looking at something wrong, guys? Please let me know, because for quite some time, I haven't noticed anything shorter than a month duration on AMD. Yeah. Yeah, you can take a look at that, Sharif, because I got December 19th, right, which is 18 days from now. But yeah.
You got December 19th, Joey?
Yeah.
I got 15, 12, 19, 26. So then you're filtering.
No,
something's going on with your filtering,
yeah,
Joey.
I don't know, dude. If we go to every other name, I got
That's bizarre.
Right? Like I have, like see December 5th.
I'd complain about that.
Yeah, I got to call somebody over there and see what's going on. But aside from that, guys, this is where a lot of liquidity is laying. 220 might be a ceiling here. We're trading at 218.72. So you're going to run into a supply zone. I think it's important to know where NVDA is trading at as well. Where is that next supply zone? And you can see a lot of it. Look at this concentration through the 80s all the way up to the 90s, right? So what I'm looking at this as is just potential writings. Even though we're trading right up to that specific level right now, you want to keep a stern eye on the fact that, hey, if we start rejecting, because this could be a potential double top. So if we don't break through, these levels can most definitely come into play. So I'm going to keep an eye out on them, but you are right back at the high of the day on NVDA. And it may take a little bit more time. You'll get that wick through the 80s, and then sure enough, you'll have the hedgies starting to push price down a little bit lower. But we're getting that curl over in Tesla as well. So I'm right back at my original entry. I'm going to take another stab. If it breaks 1835, then we're going to hop out of this trade. But right now, going with the flow, we're short Tesla, guys. We're going to send it over to Adara. What's happening now?
Midday Systems getting a little bit of a bump here. MITK, this one getting flagged as a long idea by James Altucher, saying that this one is one of the super stocks leading the AI revolution, quote unquote. So MITK, microcap here, trading around $9.05, getting the nod from James Altucher. Back to you.
All right, guys, KALA breaking out. We got 65s. We just wet the beak there at 71s, looking for continuation. So look, it did everything that I like. New 5-minute candle, make a new high, closed above the 10 EMA on the 5, but still, you're still seeing more downtrends, right? And more downtrend candles than uptrend candles momentarily. To break all that, I think we got to get above $1.75. I've layered some orders to take account for a price spike a little bit below that $1.75, currently showing me 69er. We'll look to see if we can get some more on this. Back up into 70 it goes, 71 it goes. Looking for continuation here. Looking to see where the sellers are coming in. 72 now showing up. Nope, can't clear the 72 quite yet. I'm waiting at 72, in fact, so it'll have to clear that level for me to get the print. So a little zig, a little zag on this one as the volatility steps in here on KALA. KALE up 76%, man. I'm looking to go more. There's definitely a seller at 72, and they're bringing more sell orders in because you can see the amount of prints coming in there on the level 2, on the ask side of the level 2. I got the print there at 72. Let's see if we can show 73 prints here on the time and sales. Nothing coming in yet with a 3 on it on the TOS. So Packer patience, there it is into 73. Let's see if we can get above into 75. I've got an order at 74. I perceive this one to have fundamentally changed trend. If it gets above 75, it's at 75. Joey, yeah, I told you about this one. This one will look real good, man. To be honest with you, like maybe I shouldn't say that because my radar has been a little bit off today. We're still negative on the day. Hopefully we'll get out of that. But now packing the patience over here, showing me 76 candle or 76 penny high in this current candle. 75 seller, monster 75 seller that we can't shake right now. And it's a hidden seller because barely anything's coming off the posted gateways. Can we get a 76 print? The answer is yes, Joey. 76 now, but there's a monster seller at almost every penny level. So wait until we kind of squeeze some of these shorts out of the way if we do that. The current candle, or sorry, the current day high, I should say, is $1.85. So we're still about 10 pennies away from that $1.85 area. IVDA, I did get the ad on this. I'm happy about that, but it's still, it's holding up above the 10 EMA, but it's not giving me any new area highs. We definitely need a price spike above 150 to kind of get the buyers interested as they'll see that 150 break and likely will be an interesting area of technical resistance for them as well. 30% on the day, but not right now really breaking through any major levels. HKIT, we kind of mentioned this one a little bit earlier. I didn't get any trades on this one, but it's had a love affair with the volume weighted average price at about $1.94, $1.95. Every time it comes in to the volume weighted average price, it's met with aggressive buying. The problem is every little pop is a little bit lower than its predecessors. Why isn't the 5-minute showing up? Here's what I'm seeing. So you have area high into 216, and then you have a lower high at 207, and you've got a lower high right now at 205. Let's break that 207 area to kind of change that lower high trend, and then maybe we can catch a bit more of an aggressive bid to the high side there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Again, guys, show me or just tag me if there are any new small cap gappers that I don't have my eye on. Chicago 1807 says, these shows will absolutely blow your wig back. Also, BMF. Let me have a look at BMF. Where's that one at?
BMF belt.
Let's have a look. I don't have also BMF. Is that your ticker? No. Let me know what you're talking about there, brother, because I don't know what BMF is. Maybe there's like a joke that I understand or something, but that's why I'm keeping my eye on Joey. FTEL, though, give me issues still hanging above the 10 EMA, but this current candle, let me make my case to you guys. I don't like this candle right now on FTEL. This concerns me a little bit over here. This topping tail candle that goes through $140, you're followed by a couple of red candles, each one with a lower high. That's the bad news. The good news is you're still holding trend above the 10 EMA and above that $130 at VWAP, but I don't really want to base anything on VWAP here for what's it called, FTEL, because as I mentioned earlier, it kind of feels like a line of best fit. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now, brother.
All right, cool. Good stuff, man. This is what I was talking about, the supply zone over here at 180. So you can see we're starting to reject that. We were looking at the potential 3-bar play into the break of the high of the day, but we're starting to reject. And it's the same thing here with Tesla, guys. Potential 3-bar play. This is my out. So you can see it right there at 1838. It's 10 cents of risk. So relatively tight stop. And if it breaches that level, then we just get out. Sharif's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm over. He started over 3. I started over 4, right? So sometimes it's just the nature of the beast. Especially in these markets, when you come in, you get the massive gap down and you're looking for the continuation in trend, and sure enough, you're getting a recovery in the overall market. It's nothing to be worried about whatsoever. Today may be choppy, but tomorrow can be a completely trend day, right? So whether in whatever direction it's heading in, just be patient, keep those losses small, and if your stops keep getting triggered, then so be it. Don't get tilted. Don't put yourself in a position where you come and you're rocking and roll tomorrow, but you took too large of a loss yesterday or today, and then you're like, oh man, well, I'm just break even now when you should be up substantially more than what you're currently trading at. So, all right, guys.
Hold on, before we go to Adara, VEEE is absolutely breaking out, guys. This is the one that had a good day on Friday. It ran a little bit here in the pre-market. It kind of did nothing almost the entire morning with, you know, this trading sideways, but there's the breakout on volume, might I add. This candle at 11:35 had about 1.1 million shares, and now we're up into 345, so it looks like possibly a bull flag formation here. The 10 EMA on the 5 is around 313. VEEE is the one I'm talking about, up 27%. I want to mention that to you guys before we send you to Happening Now, the Neil's lesson of the day.
This market just keeps pushing higher. As Joe just mentioned, gap down this morning. A lot of this likely led by crypto, which we'll talk about in a second, but nice recovery for a lot of the non-crypto names here in the market. Nasdaq touched as low as 212.40s this morning. Now we're all the way up to 612.40s. Now we're all the way up to 618s, though we still haven't quite eclipsed yesterday, or Friday rather's highs. Let's talk here about this crypto, because here's MSTR. MSTR down more than 10%. A lot of crypto still pretty weak. As we get Strategy announcing they've actually cut their year-end price target range for Bitcoin. Initially, they were seeing a Bitcoin price target here at the end of the year, 150,000. Now they're seeing between 85K and 110K. They also announced they have a $1.44 billion cash reserve. So interesting look there for MSTR. NVIDIA looking like the exact opposite of MSTR. This one's about to make a new high of day. NVDA announcing a $2 billion investment in Synopsys, though notably that deal does not force Synopsys to buy any NVIDIA chips. So interesting look there. As we get more details, we'll keep you posted. But in the meantime, we're going to let you know about Origenics. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the US, but there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion in 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today, but in the meantime, we're going to learn more with Neil and his lesson. Neil, give the people that lesson of the day.
I shall. Thank you, Adara. And I feel like when I look at this, someone's pointing out this morning, it's like you can have like an angel and like the devil on either side. if two people were sitting at the desk. So Brendan and Sharif this morning could have pulled that off. I think we should have some fun with that at some point. But I want to talk about breakouts, or maybe like the fake out that I think can happen when you're looking for a key level break. And obviously Tesla, anyone that would have seen this morning, 433 was a prior high on Tesla. Here, I'll zoom it out even further so you can just sort of check this out. And this is an obvious level, but it's obvious on a 15-minute time frame. So on this higher time frame, you're going to see Friday's top, a little bit underneath that, going back a week. And then when you look at the last time it made that peak for resistance and support, you're going back a couple of weeks at this point to get that 433 level. So does it break? Yeah, it broke through. But oftentimes, if you're looking for a breakout to simply be, oh, there's 433, go long, well, you get caught in this kind of a trap. And what I've found is sometimes, and well, if not most of the time, if you get a topping tail candle on a 1 minute, a 3 minute, a 5 minute, you don't want to get wrapped up. It might bounce off VWAP, it might resume, but if the level was good on a higher time frame, let the breakout show you a higher time frame win. Like, were there buyers above 433? Did it close above resistance on this 15-minute where we found the level in the first place? No and no. So on that higher time frame where you found the level, was it any good? And the answer is going to be a resounding no. There were not buyers above. And then I want to give you an example, and this is pretty simple. Like, sometimes you'll hear me use the term, are there buyers above a price? Or I want to see a closing bar above a certain price. That's what a real breakout is. Now, you might get those quick at open breaks where you're just instantly in the money on that big volume candle. Those are fantastic too. But if they end up in topping tails, you've got to be able to get out of Dodge fast and see what a real breakout on the higher time frame you can hold all day long looks a little bit more like. And that's when it does so on that high, like I said, the higher time frame. And the only one I can think of, because it's real time, right? So I'm going to show you SLV. Because I happen to just have been in a trade, and we had this one earlier. And silver, it's making a fresh all-time highs, so there really aren't any levels to work off of outside of the pre-market top break. Now, you're going to notice something about silver. I'll go back to the lower time frame here, ignore the dip buys, but there's your pre-market high, which effectively would be an all-time high. Well, what happens here? It breaks, tries to hold, and immediately loses trend. Now, I was long VWAP twice, first time no good, second time good, but it's not that I want to talk about. It's like, oh, great, you could have the long the second time through, or maybe I should be back in this long, which I probably will be in a second. But it's this break the second time. Now, what happens when you break that prior high the second time? The first time, it tries to hold a candle above. There's your kind of consolidation. But the first pullback completely rejects the bid, right? Like, at first pullback, it does not hold that prior high, so you know it's not looking any good. The second time it breaks out that high, what happens on the first pullback? It holds. So it's right in here that now that higher time frame breakout is a continuation, and this is your bar potentially for entry. Now, is it right at the breakout price? Not necessarily. I mean, you can take that breakout and it doesn't go against you. Certainly you can. You can just randomly take this breakout and it doesn't go against you either. But the first dip, confirmation, and then the break kind of gives you a pretty clean area where you know you want to be long in here when it retakes that prior bar, and you can kind of jump out whichever stop you like, the prior bar or the red bar here as you're out, and then just ride that trend, which is coming right back in, and I got wicked out, so I'm going to try to nibble back in on silver myself. I think I got a bad wick, so I'm going to try to jump back in there. But I think the time frame can matter. In this particular case, the 15 isn't that big of a deal because it's making all-time highs, right? So there aren't any levels that you're working off of. But you're still looking for that confirmation that on the breakout, the buyers are winning above. When it gets sold, are buyers meeting that selling and winning? In the case of silver, first time that was not true, second time it was true. In the case of Tesla, it just never happened. At no point, and well, maybe this will change here going into 33, but at no point on that 33 breakout did it go in the money, sure. And if you loaded in, like if you were long 433.01 and took a boatload of shares and took 50 pennies, there's some day traders that might be happy with that scalp trade, but there's almost no one else that's going to be because the follow through didn't happen. There were no buyers above. The initial selling did not get met with buyers. And oftentimes, that is what you want to see. And it might not be that breakout at the open, and it might not be that breakout on the higher time frame that holds through early. Sometimes you have to be patient. Allow for it to set up on that higher time frame. Allow the buyers to come in on the first available dip. And when that kind of a breakout starts to take place, that's the one you can hold for longer. Like Eddie had that, had silver to the long side, and I'm sure you're able to hold because it's showing you the buyers were in control when it made the fresh high. Tesla never really gave you that. So sure, 433 was a great level, but there were never any buyers to make you want to go long there. And great if you happen to be short, that's even better because it was a key price level. But breakout trades do require a simple thing. You're supposed to get above the price, but that's not the only thing that you need. Just breaking a round number or breaking a line on a chart is not really enough to continue a trend, extend a trend, or make a new trend. You want to join the buyers after they've confirmed that they've won above that price. Otherwise, you could just end up being fodder for the shorts at a big key level. So, be careful, go to higher time frames, confirm that buyers are out there. Don't just hold breakout trades against you till oblivion, because when they fail, like Tesla, that could get pretty nasty. Maybe you're okay with losing that $5 in there. I don't know. I don't like to on a breakout trade, so I like to see that confirmation. Show me the buyers are winning above the price. Show me the buyers are coming in on the dip above that breakout price, and then join the move, and it allows you to hold it a little bit longer for a winner. There's your lesson of the day. Go silver, go markets, almost green on the Nasdaq. Cannot keep this market down.
Well said, Neil. That's kind of feels like that. I was talking to Neil about it in the pre-market. Did you ever hear of this gold-silver ratio?
No.
You take the price of, I think, gold, it's divided by the price of silver. It gives you just a number. You use that as your ratio. And when that number is larger relative to the historical average, you buy, or sorry, if the price variance is big, you buy silver, and then it typically mean reverts some way, somehow. I only read it on the weekend.
Okay. So
silver
it goes
kept
back.
running.
So once it's deviated X amount of, I get from the ratio aspect, you get it because you're thinking that it's going to tighten up that ratio.
They compare the two metals, obviously. Obviously, this was like basics, ABCs for commodities traders, but we rarely trade commodities, so it's not really our wheelhouse. But yeah, apparently that is, but WeWan says gold-silver ratio is overrated. I can't really comment on that because I just learned about it over the weekend, so I'll take your word for it there. But that is, pardon me. That is what I was reading there on the weekend. All right, guys, I weaseled into V triple E. We're looking for this one to hold the higher lows. Still forming, I perceive to be bull flag number 2. Whether or not we have as prolonged of a consolidation period as we did with the first bull flag, which was from 9:40 until the breakout 11:35. So 55 minutes worth of consolidation. We'll see. I put my profit takers in the high 30s, low 40s. Let's see if this one price spikes up. I also added into KALA as it came in, held the 10 EMA on the 5 again. So I got some more in where I got some initially, just what the peak there at 70s. Looking for continuation though into the high of the day at around 85. There's another print as this one pops up into the low 70s again. I'm talking about KALA up about 78% now. IVDA, I'm not sure what the hell is going on with this one, but every time it moves up into 47s, hangs around 47s, I'm not getting the print despite the fact that I'm likely first in priority on this one because I've had that order posted for quite some time. We'll keep an eye out on that one and see exactly how it's doing. FTEL though, I'm starting to, I don't want to say lose hope, but I'm starting to change my tune or my approach on FTEL here, despite the fact that it's still holding the higher lows. So if you draw a trend line from the earlier pop at 8:30 into now, we're still holding those higher lows, but I'm not liking what I see in terms of volume. I'm not liking in terms of candles relative to prior candles. So we'll have to see how that one ends up doing, but I am holding some shares here, so I don't mind this one popping up and maybe me getting out of it. I'm actually break even on it right now, Joey.
That's all right.
So I got decisions to make. Do I want to get out of it here? If I don't like the look of this one, I'm going to say no. I'm going to let this one go, and we'll see what we get there. So KALA in focus and VEEE. Now that we've got some into this one, what's our cost basis on that? 28.5. We're showing 28. Nothing doing until 35. Joey, what do you got?
Yeah, beautiful stuff. I'll tell you what I got right now.
What do you got, my man? Oh.
Okay.
There it is, man. All right. So this one, I told you guys I have a couple that I've been working on for quite some time now. I'm not quite some time, but the better duration of months. I guess we could say that. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen.
Yes, sir.
The one thing to note is that obviously nothing in trading is 100%, but again, just looking at some of the signals. So essentially what this is a gap up, gap down identifier. I'm going to eliminate the gap ups because that means you're going to have to be looking for a short. So I'm going to divide this system into two. The script is down here, but essentially what this is just displaying is just massive gap down in certain underlying assets. Now, the theory is that, okay, you get these 5% gap downs and eventually that they're going to get filled. So what I'm going to do is next is construct a solid system in which to enter the gaps, right? Because that's obviously extremely important. Now, if we just go back in history, we'll use this one as an example. So you can see that we open up around whatever number, 201, we climb up to 206, and then we gap down greater than 5%. Now, you have to wait, this is in February of 2025, but you have to wait X amount of months, quite some time, until you've entered it. But look at the probability after entry of the gap down, right? It fills it completely, and that's essentially what we're getting at. We can go through we can go through multiple names. You get another 5% gap down. It does breach it, fills 60 to 70% of the gap, but then comes back in, eventually filling the complete thing. And the majority, and what this is going to be filtered into is mega cap tech names, all right? So gap down, I'm gonna be working on this continuously, and then once I get that entry criteria, because it's gonna be on a time-based duration. So what I'm gonna have to do is continuously refine the system in order to find good quality setups. And you wanna have a profit factor that's a little bit higher than average. So roughly around 1.5 to 2 would be more ideal. But more to come on that one. I wanted to jump away from that because I am seeing some short signals on the Qs. So we're gonna take a little bit of a stab here, guys. Our stop is going to be the high of the day. So roughly only 15 cents or so of risk. Let's start this small, and if it really starts to cook up, like when you're instantly in the money, Sharif, that's a thing of beauty.
It's a beauty.
And you wish that you went a little bit heavier and went full size right out of the gate, but that's not the case. Short the TQs off of these highs. Nice inverted hammer candles across the board. We're running into supply zones in NVDA. We talked about that 180 level on the options chain, and now you're starting to come back in some of the larger names, and we're really starting to bleed, Sharif.
Get it, Joey.
We are instantly 10 cents just like that on the TQQQs, man.
All right, man. There goes KALA into a high a day, $1.87. Rocketing up. What do we get there? We got 85s at the high. Show me 84s now. Looks like a bull flag continuation. Let's see exactly how this one's looking. Well, we haven't really blew through that top end of the bull flag. We only kind of cleared it by 5 pennies. Prior day high was, I believe, 85, and now current day high 87. But yeah, we had a real prolonged, I would say, bull flag consolidation, as I mentioned earlier, from around 7 a.m. to the breakout there at 11:15. This one feels like, you know, it may take out some key levels here a little bit quicker than it did prior day, or earlier in the day, I should say. I'm going to be looking for a price spike into 2. But I just got absolutely rinsed on V. I don't know why my stop didn't trigger there, but we're going to get this one out as this one drops all the way down into 3. It loses the 10 EMA on the 5, so I'm going to have to get rid of this one. And we took no prints here on V. But alas, it is into a technical area of previous support. I'm talking about that $2.95, $3 area. This is an area where it had trouble clearing at around 10 a.m. I wonder if it holds up here. So wonder if this is a good area to get in. No, it looks like it's losing it even more now, down into 295. This one's really catching a sell bid, and an aggressive sell bid, that is, into 295, south of 3. I just want to see if it's going to find a bottom over here. Maybe we can get back into this one and ride it back up. No, it is losing VWAP. It is losing the 10 EMA. That's it. Not going to touch this one because it is breaking trend at the moment. But look at FLYE, rocketing up back into 14, guys. The high of the day is 15 here, so we're on the precipice of taking out 14 on the day, and if we get into 15, this one could really squeeze into whatever, 20, who knows? It's already up 210%. What's another 200% on top of that? I've seen this story before, so let's keep an eye on FLYE. It's still riding trend, higher lows. You're not getting higher highs on every successive pop, but you are getting good strength on this one. Just trade it carefully because it has a way of dropping $1.50
$2 on you quick as you like, and you can find yourself substantially out of the money very quickly. Look at this one, man. Oh my goodness. KALA takes out that previous area high into 87s, drops aggressively back into 72. We still have 66s on this one, but that's an ugly candle if it closes like this on the 5 on KALA. I want nothing to do with this one if it drops below the 10 EMA, given the candle that it just formed. And here's what I'm talking about. In case you're wondering why I'm making such a big deal about this, this is an aggressive sell into that 87, dropping into 70. But again, don't be myopic. Keep your eye on the trend. And the trend is it's still holding the 10 EMA on the 5 and holding higher lows. So could be an area to get in. It's just a lot harder to do when you see that kind of aggressive print come in. So we're holding IVDA, we're holding KALA, we're out of VEEE, we got rinsed on that. FTEL, we had to flatten out as this one did lose the 25 penny area. We're gonna be keeping an eye though on FLYE. We're going to the big desk.
SYM pushing a little bit lower here. Keep an eye on Symbiotic. Nikkei just reporting here that NVIDIA and Fanuc, which is basically a group that NVIDIA works with in robotics, are now teaming up here for physical AI push for industrial robots. Now, that's obviously going to be in competition with SYM, which also does these robots for industry and warehouse. So again, SYM moving lower on an NVIDIA-related story, guys, in antipathy. Back to you.
All right, guys, whenever we're ready, Assassino, let's fire it up. Beta Pro 3x daily leverage. And now for some exciting news out of Canada for some sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leverage inverse and inverse leverage ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more there, folks. All right, now we're short the queues, Sharif. You know what that means.
What does that mean,
Joey? We've got to keep an eye on some of the big boys. And who are those we're talking about?
Who are those?
Goggles, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, NVDA, and AAPL to see what they are up to. And if they continue to sell off, then I like our chances in the Nasdaq participating as well. Now, have we reached a triple top, it seems like, in Google? We're stuck in that consolidation zone with the inability to break 318.50, so I'm going to look for that to come into play. We have Amazon moving sideways right along the volume-weighted average price, and NVDA continuously running into that $180 supply zone. Now, the one I'm most worried about out of these 6 names, could you guess, Sharif? You guessed right, brother.
Amazon.
It's Apple. Apple, yeah, I got to keep an eye out for Apple just in case it does put in a new high of the day. If it is, and it looks like it wants to, I'm most definitely going to be paying close attention to the Nasdaq.
All right, guys, I just found something crazy. I'm digging into exchanges and I stumbled on BTCC, top 30 globally. But here's the wild part. BTCC has never been hacked while major exchanges kept getting wrecked. BTCC stays untouched. 0 KYC if you're in the US, Canada, or Europe. Through Trader TV, you also get 100 USDT coupons for registering. Plus, you get a 15% bonus that covers losses up to 15K USDT. That's a good look there. Seriously, what am I missing here? Scan that QR code for more information. Shout out to the BTCC crew. All right, Joey, we're involved here in FLYE like a psycho. And we're holding this one for a $14 break. It does have current higher lows, but I'm out of the money obviously on it, but I did get a beak wetter into the breach of 14. It was a momentary breach. I'm looking for that higher low pattern to hold up and a possible squeeze above 14, hence why I've layered my orders above that said level. Let's see if we can kind of price spike up and take out $14 on the day. Now, I don't want to be aggressive into where I add, but I do like how this one is trading at the moment, even though it has been halting multiple times. So a move down possibly into the 1280s, even 13, probably gets me a little bit more into this one. So let's go ahead and see how many shares we have here. on that bad boy, and I'm gonna wait. Let's wait at 88 over here and see what we can kind of get in and around that area for a nice price spike up. Nothing doing quite yet, up into 13 and a third, but no continuation quite yet on this one. KALA continues to kind of hold above the 10 EMA, back into 77s. I didn't get anything on this latest drop into the 10 EMA, but this is a good look right now on Kala. It does have an ugly topping tail candle in the 187, but it was quickly bought up, man, because we're right back into 180 again. Or yeah, right into 180 we go. So I didn't get anything more on here, so I don't want to take out anything too quickly. Let's see if we can get a price spike above that 187. So in fact, I'm going to actually post at 188 for a high of day break here on KALA. But I really need to keep my eye on FLYE, as this one, where is it at? Let's go. Where's my FLYE? There we go, Joey. We got the ad there. So I'm just going to have to throw some stops, brother. So I'm just going to throw it to you.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, here it is, right? I told you guys the one name that I'm most worried about, and that's going to be AAPL, as we're starting to head towards that all-time high. I mean, you're only you're only $1 or so, not even from that specific level, and it looks like it doesn't want to stop from an intraday standpoint, putting in barely, but touching a new one, 279.43. That's going to correlate with Friday's high as well. Or sorry, we're way past that. We got to look for that next potential level, Sharif, and that's going to put us at a new all-time high in
Don't
Apple.
forget, though, Joey, that it did have not an official high, but on earnings day, I think it got into about 285
in the post market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trade the Pool is transforming how stock traders access the market. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital, while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. And right now, with Trade the Pool's Black Friday deal, you get 15% off on all evaluation accounts automatically at checkout.
Straight to jail.
Straight right away, man. Right away at checkout, straight to jail. When you hit that profit target, no jail. You keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading, powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get the discount. Now, as for some of the other names, guys, we went through the mega cap. Let's head back to our scanners before we send it back to Sharif to look for some solid potential setups. Now, we're looking at the options chain with AMD and NVDA. We'll take a look at it for Apple to see if there's any potential supply zones where we can look for rejection. But this thing is on the warpath, Sharif, putting in a new high of the day.
Who?
Apple.
Hey.
Going awful right now, man. Well, a lot of the other tech names aren't doing too much. So let's see if this.
Taco,
yeah, Oppo Taco for sure.
Like
and again, if you're gonna just go with the flow in a specific name, it's AAPL. Now, at the top of the list, guys, we have NVDA with 97.5 million shares traded on today's session. This is the 24-hour chart. We're gonna head over to the 5-minute, slowly starting to curl over. Supply zone 180. We've seen that on the options chain. Now, as for IBIT, earlier in the pre-market, guys, 5 million shares traded bright and early, 8 a.m. That's quite a bit. We're used to seeing around 1, 2.5 at most. So from a relative volume standpoint, lots of activity there. Now, INTC going nuts, going berserk on Friday, Sharif. What's it doing today?
Berserko?
No, Oppo.
From G.I. Joe?
No, I don't know. I don't know
my bad.
Shout out G.I. Jane. I don't know why I said
You like that movie, huh?
G.I. Jane, of course.
Demi Moore?
Yeah, of course. And Tomb Raider as well, too, whoever the girl played. Laura Croft.
Laura Croft.
That's
right.
And,
I like it.
I know Neil's looking at me like, yeah, Laura Croft.
He knows what's up.
Yeah, he knows what's up for sure. Okay, so as for CLSK, guys, not too bad of a look. MSTR.
Neil is always so disgusted with some of her conversations.
Yeah, our Stacey's like, man.
It's so funny how he reacts.
The thing is, though, for him, he's like, man, what is wrong with that generation? Those 90s kids, I don't know.
Me and him are like 3 years apart,
yeah, but
bro.
for me personally, he's just like, listen, I don't know about this show guy sometimes. His takes are absolutely insane. But 279.63.
Hold up.
Hold up.
No, I just don't understand the connection between G.I. Jane and Tomb Raider.
Yo, I got to do it.
Go ahead.
Laura Croft.
FLYE is
what?
breaking the out. Okay, here we go. Joey, we got shares on this one too, man. So we're going to take out some. We are over $1, almost $2 in the money on this monster. This is single-handedly changing my day. We are going to halt up here. Joseph options, 1471. We've got 1288s on. We're almost $2 in the money on FLYE. Fly, 228%. False halt, Joey. False halt. Watch out here. 71 now showing up as a halt level. We could drop aggressively. It's a $15 high day. We still haven't printed anything above 15. There's the halt parameter again into 71, but it might be a new timer now. So watch out here for another false halt on FLYE. What a move up on this one. This one got me out of some trouble, Joseph options, because we weren't doing that good on the day. And there's the halt up. Pumped about this. So excited was I. My headpiece came out.
Oh,
my bad.
You got to plug back in.
Good thing Assassino didn't say anything
You
important.
got to make sure you plug back in. All right, guys, I'm out of the TQs.
My bad.
Apple new high of the day, 279.76. I want no smoke whatsoever with the TQs and trying to short it. If it decides that it wants to bleed, by all means, it can do it without me. I will feel no way about it. Again, accuracy on shorting this thing it's relatively. It is not good, I'll tell you that. So I should just avoid it. Can I get blocked? Someone block me from trading the TQ short. It's going to save me a world of
You can ask him.
Yeah,
you
like
can ask
literally
him to
just
do
like
it.
don't. Every time I hit the key, I want to see that rejection because this thing is absolutely disastrous. Sharif, what did I say?
Sir.
I said there's one name that I'm worried about raining on the parade.
The dead one.
Yeah, and sure enough, we're now up to 280.
Oh,
Or
no.
279, we'll call it. 279, roughly 280, or closer to that part. So avoid that. I'm going to slap this here because today has been an absolute rinse job.
Rinse job?
Yeah, completely, man. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
I hate those,
Yeah,
Joey.
we got plenty of risk left on the table, but I'm just looking over here. Everything I touch is turning to ash, brother. And
It's
we don't
going to turn to
that.
gold
we
tomorrow,
need that
my boy.
gold.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
anything. Tomorrow, next thing you know, I'm super hot fire, but again today, a little bit more of a tougher one for the kid, and I'm not worried about it whatsoever because I already know, as Sharif mentioned, I come back tomorrow and it's a completely new day.
Completely
Tuesday, Wednesday,
new.
Thursday, Friday, we're absolutely rocking and rolling. So that's why I'm just going to sit here with high hopes and say, yeah, I can still come back. Now I'm not going to even put wasted. Remove that. If anything, go mission respect, plus 99. Because you call me Joey Options, but I'm also the comeback kid at any given moment. Never count me out because it takes one trade and we're back in this fight.
I wouldn't be
that's
betting against you.
No, it's a horrible idea.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
If I could bet on myself, then that'd actually.
I'm pretty sure you
can.
can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Why?
Ram, why don't you try being nice for a change?
Yeah.
You know, it might be a little change of pace for you over there.
But hold on. What is my problem, though?
I don't know, man. She's always displeased about everything. Today I was trying to tell her Rob was messing around with the power for the lights, and then apparently like the whole thing happened because she started accusing Rob of messing around with the lights, and he's like, yo, I'm not even here. And then so she blamed me for giving her misinformation.
Oh.
You did. I got the text message to actually prove it. Get it, Ram.
Man.
We love you, girl. We're just teasing.
Giving you a hard time.
Here's the deal, though, Joey.
What, that my TQs trade that I punched out at the top is now home?
No, but yeah, the fact of the matter is that Kyle says, Assassino, put a shocker in Joey's mouse so that, you know, you don't hit the
Oh, yeah, there we go.
TQQs
Yeah,
there.
that's a SOARS. Just, exactly. Just hit me with the old shocker. So if you see... yeah,
Bro, yeah. Anybody from a certain age group is gonna know exactly what that is.
Crazy. That is crazy.
Oh, here we go.
What kind
Oh
of corner did you
no.
back me into. Now the chat's gonna go absolutely insane. Oh my days.
There they go. I love it. On cue. On freaking cue.
I gotta get.
I love you guys, man. You guys are undefeated. Get him, Ram. Bully him, Ram.
They did this, man. That was insane.
I love it.
Someone
All right,
take the
Joey,
mic from me.
let's look at this for a second, because your boy Kala popped up into a new high day Chile nightmare at $189, and your friend over here is at long at 166. So I'm pleased about this one, but I'm hoping for a $2 squeeze on KLA. Get it, Joey? Up 92%. There's 87s and there's 88s again. Shout out to CD. Neil, we're okay now, eh? Look at that. We got a winning record. Oh my goodness, something's going on in Dallas over there. It hasn't been a lot to cheer about, let me tell you that, but I'll take knocking off the defending Super Bowl champs, as well as, of course, Patrick Mahomes in a row. So I'm not saying we're going to do anything, but it's pleasing to me. So new high day right now on KALA, $191. Let's keep an eye out on that. But we're still caught in this uphaul right now on FLYE. And the tap now is showing $15.67. Guys, we've got $12.88 on right now, having halted at 12:28:07. So the earliest this will be open is 12:33:07. What time is it? Let's take a quick look at the atomic clock. It is 12:32:47. So we've got about 20 seconds or so now, 10 seconds before this one opens up at the earliest. Of course, we don't really know where it's going to open up. So I'm going to put an order over here at 50s. The top is showing me 70s. Let's see if we can get an open. Top is now 91, back down into 70. Doesn't look like we're going to get an open at the 5-minute mark. It looks like it will be a 10-minute halt. That kind of sucks because I wanted to get a little bit out of this. So this one will be a 10-minute halt, sadly, or at least a 10-minute halt. It could be longer. There's a general theory, and it's not always true, that the longer you're halted in these bad boys, people start panicking. They want to get their money out, or they want to get the trade out, and they start throwing market on open orders that are below. So the buy-sell imbalance, which is what the theoretical auction price is, starts dropping a little bit. If that's going to be the case, obviously, that's not a good look for me, but it could also move up, so we'll see. Current high day, 15. The top right now showing 15.55, so for the moment, this one will open up into a new high day. We'll have to see if that actually happens or not. IVDA, I'm long at 44s. And I think this is going to be the end of the trade for this one. It's coming down below the 10 EMA, and I'm going to end it here so that I can concentrate on other ones. So we'll take the last remaining amount on IVDA, break even, and then we'll be able to focus on FLYE as well as KALA. And those ones have been my profitable ones. So looking to do some more damage here on KALA as well as FLYE. KALA coming back down though into $1.75. It's a 91 high. I don't have too much in the way of shares remaining, so I think I'm going to add into this one at 73s. That's where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. Pardon me. It has a way of wicking below the 10 EMA and then reclaiming it right away. So I'm going to put some shares here. Let's go for this amount, and we're going to wait at 74s to front run it by a couple of shekels. We'll see if we get that print. If we don't, we'll have to chase it, and that obviously presents its own problems. Sports and stonks. I almost didn't show up today because I knew Sharif would bring up my Chiefs losing. Brother, I didn't even know you liked the Chiefs. And that was a while ago, by the way. It was last Thursday. I'm not trying to gloat at all. Obviously, as a Cowboys fan, I have not had a lot to cheer about this year. You know that.
Sounds like you're gloating, man.
I'm not, brother. I'm not. I'm really not. I promise you, there's not a whole lot to gloat about, Joey. But the boys have been looking a lot better, let me tell you. I like our receiving core, man. The receivers are definitely are stepping up. Dak's having a hell of a season, but you already knew he was going to have a hell of a season because he's going to have to throw every pass. Everybody and their mother loves having this guy in fantasy right now. He's putting up points.
They're putting up numbers.
And Neil said that was going to be exactly the case. I got to give Neil credit. He said that word for word, that Dak was likely going to be a good fantasy pick because of the situation the team finds itself in. So that is the look there.
Yeah,
I have really nothing else to talk about, brother, unless you've got something there.
Yeah, I mean, we can ramble on for quite some time. I'm maybe looking at Google for a potential breakout here, guys. We're just stuck in the supply zone here on NVIDIA. I'm glad we got out of this trade. Let's get this thing out of here. It's going there. We'll put this one on the naughty list for today.
Put it on the naughty list.
Yeah, man, get that garbage out of here, as our good friend Jack Armstrong would like to say. Raptors on a 2-game losing streak.
Is there a set roster of individuals, all whom
get presents from Joey Options on a yearly basis? You got a set roster?
Yeah. Well,
Let's hear it.
it's a one-woman roster. That's my grandma.
That's it, eh?
Yeah.
She's the only one getting a present?
Well, but that's the defined set roster. You know what I mean? So if I had to do, they get present. Yeah, of course. Yeah, she'd get presents as well too. But at the top of the list,
she's not on the roster.
She's on the roster.
She's on the roster.
Yeah. I mean, but I already got her stuff. Yeah, we're doing all that stuff. But yeah, no. If it's anybody who gets something every year, it's grandma every year.
I love it.
Whether it be whatever, she get whatever she wants. So she asks. So other than that, man, yeah.
What's grandma typically? What kind of presents grandma like?
She like sweaters, robes, like to stay warm and stuff like that.
Grandma stuff.
She likes to go outside for walks with her friends, so we just get her mittens and stuff. You know what I mean? To diversify.
She do any tricot or any sewing or anything like that? You know, like what is that? Knitting?
No, not really. No.
My grandma was big on that.
She likes ironing.
She likes ironing?
She likes to iron stuff. So that's I mean, to each their own at the end of the day. But no, she's not a knitter.
She's not a knitter, yeah. My grandma was
she's garden club in the summer.
There you go. That's what I mean. I'm trying to get into that. What are the hobbies like?
Exactly.
That's what I'm asking.
She's garden club. So when I go over there, I get to hear everything that the board is. She's on the board in the condo as well too.
I love those stories, bro. They're the best.
How she is with absolutely everything. All the time. So yeah, aside from that, and then that's it, man. Oh, and, like I'll message my mom and my sister and stuff like that, but they ain't getting jack from the kid. That's just how
Joey, boom! Into 16 we go on FLYE, bro. That is almost a 4-banger on that. Just a little bit shy of a 4-banger. And there it goes more, Joey. It's a 16.57 high a day on FLYE. I mean, come on. I mean, this is like the perfect pun at all. I mean, it's flying high. Limit down go. Very, very happy with my out because this one looks like it's going to hold down. 14.17 is where I saw that limit band. Keep your eye on my time and sales. When you see the red rectangles that say LULD, that is limit up, limit down. On the left side, it's going to be the limit down price. On the right side, where the ask is going to be the limit up price. So keep your eye out on that. I'm not done trading this, though. If it holds up at key technical levels, I'm getting back in on this one, 238%. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joey, but this one was just to open. So
yeah, I know. Well, I got to start finding some of those as well, too. You got to let me know a little bit earlier, man. Come on.
My bad, bro.
No, it's all good. Yeah, my grandma's like 72 or 3 now.
So your grandma's younger than my old man.
Yeah,
my old man's knocking on 80.
Yeah.
He's going to be, his birthday is one day after you.
Yeah, my grandma was relatively young, to be honest, for her grandma.
Yeah,
for her grandma. I mean, hey, she's good to stay active. I always tell her make sure she go out for walks and everything along those lines.
She get the steps in?
She every day.
I force my old man. He's got to get the steps in
every day. She wants to pool fix, right? So they can go. She likes to swim and stuff. So she'll go to the rec and everything. Go swim.
That's what I want to hear, bro.
So you gotta keep the engine rolling, brother.
You have to. And just getting my dad to do the exercise, it drives me insane. He is so good at taking his medication, like nobody you've ever seen, which makes sense because he's a pharmacist. But he just can't reapply that discipline into exercise. It's non-transferable skill, Joey. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say. It's frustrating as hell.
Tough. She has one of the the standing trampolines.
Of course.
Yeah. So she has that. So when I go over, I'll just hear like this thing going, and I come in and she's like,
"Get it, Grandma."
Oh my God.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
good for her, man. Good for her.
By all means, that'd be absolutely disastrous.
Recommended.
Yeah, we don't want that. But as for the overall market, guys, I'm looking at a potential Google long here because it looks the consolidation is nice and steady. Now, which direction are we going to go? Key resistance at 318.54. So if we hold the support level at 317.43, then I like our chances to climb a little bit higher, considering that's what it seems the mega caps want to do today. But we cannot absorb the supply at that 180 level on NVDA. So keep an eye out on that one. I'm going to post up on Google at the lower end of the range, and that's going to be 317.50. So that's going to be my next potential trade, guys.
All right, guys, CNCK. Look, the small cappers are on one today. They were good, then they weren't good. Now they're good again. CNCK really going 57%. I don't know if this is going to be this is a halt up parameter here. I think this is going to be a halt here at 511 if we get a little bit more time like this. Let's look at this on a trading screen. CNCK, the one I'm talking about. I'm running out of trading screens here, Joey. CNCK, let's find out. Yes, we are now halted up on CNCK, 57.72%, $5.11. It hasn't done a whole lot of volume. The volume came in really late, guys, right around noon. In fact, let me bring in the black charts. Oh, Bovin's back, my man, Bovin.
Oh,
yeah, this is where it is, guys. Look at that. That's the first volume spike bar right there on the bottom right of your screen. That is the 12 o'clock volume bar. Basically did nothing in the pre-market, did all but nothing from 9:30 to 12, but then, you know, where we're really putting in good volume now and 511 high. So CNCK certainly going to be on watch for me. If it sets up in the right way, you know, comes back in, maybe test 480, 475, something like that. We'll work our way into this one. FLYE, I'm very happy with my out as this one is dropping down now. But what I want to keep my eye on here with FLYE, does it continue to hold trend? So you get these outlying breaches of the 10 EMA on the 5 that typically hold up at VWAP. You know, you might not get that every time. So my first level that I'm looking at here is $14. And not just because it's a whole dollar level, but because that's where the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is. If it doesn't hold up at 14, I'm not interested. Below that, I'm looking at 12 bucks. The reason I say 12 bucks, that's where VWAP is, and it's found support at VWAP multiple times before. Those are the deeper retracements. The more shallow retracements on the price trend up typically hold up at the 10 moving average on the 5 exponential moving average. So that is going to be the first level that I look at there. I'm still holding, as you guys can see, KALA. I've got nothing, I haven't added here, and I think I'm going to add here, Joey, because this one is still trending nicely, and I don't have too much in the way of shares. In fact, my beak wetter here at 74, my profit taker, I should say, it didn't trigger because it didn't lose 75. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to add small into this one, and if it drops, I'll add a little bit more until you will see if it loses the 10 EMA. And if it pops, we'll wet the beak. So let's go ahead here, now that we've added, and take some at 85, and then we'll front run the 90 level because 91 is the high, and we'll wet the beak there at 89s. So that's my look there. IVDA, I had a trade on this one, decent, not great. It's now reclaiming trend. So the previous trend was higher lows. That broke momentarily vis-a-vis the 1230 candle. And now we're back at $147. I had a bias on IVDA that we would flat top break through the $150, you know, on a decisive basis, because technically the high of the day is 151, so you've technically broke it. But that's not what I'm in it for. I'm not in it for a quick wick and then drop back down. We're looking for a break of the level and a holding of the level off which we can base more trades. So IVDA certainly in back in focus for me here, as it's 3 pennies off the high of the day, Joey. So I put some respect on this one's name in the same way that I'm going to put some respect on CNCK's name. Where the hell is it? We don't even have a trading screen up for it, Joey. That's how poorly we're doing here. We do, but it didn't change.
Pick it.
CNCK in focus for me, guys. Going to keep an eye out on that one. Shout out to my man Bovin, back printing on FLYE and CNCK. Shout out to the OG Bovin. He always looking at the same things as me. If you're into these small cap gappers, you gotta keep your eye on Bovin's callouts in the chat, and that's another reason you should be involved in the chat. Because otherwise you're not going to know about Bovin's level.
I'm involved in the chat. I'm not seeing this guy's callouts because that CNCK breakout is really nice. That's something that I'm looking for. The momentum style of trade. Conservative movement mentioned, hey, I love these slow grinds up. I personally don't, man. I like the momentum style, nice velocity and power through some of the moves. And today it's just grind, a little bit higher. But anyways, aside from that, I'm glad that it's working out relatively well for you. Apple putting in a new high of the day. We got NVDA putting in one as well too. And then as for Google, we're getting a 5-minute candle opening up above the range. So you're now sitting on top of resistance at 318.18. Now, are we going to start to break through? I'm posted up at 317.50s. This might not be looking so good, but there is, I'll tell you one thing, Sharif, if you're going to bet on anything, there's a 0% chance that I'm going to be chasing it all the way up here, even though it is breaking it. I will not be buying into resistance.
You're not going to buy?
Just yet. No, I'm not going to do it, my friend. I'm not going to fall for the tomfoolery, my friend, and the deception. But as for the TQs, that's why we get out when we're supposed to. And just listening to what price action is telling us, I had the strong hunch that Apple Apple was going to be leading the way, and there it goes, punching through supply zone.
Punch it, Apple.
No, it wasn't Apple, brother. It was NVDA.
Okay.
Now up to 180.29. So there it is, consolidation. You consolidate for just a little bit under an hour, 45 minutes, and then now you're starting to break. So this move can be sustained. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Google. I would love to get this 317.50, considering it's right at support above the volume weighted average price. So a lot of factors coming in my favor, but it seems that it wants to go without the kid. Now, as for the small cap scan, I have that as well too. So let's take a look at that and see if some of the names that Sharif and Bhavin have been talking about.
Take a look at FLYE, my man.
What's it doing?
It's halted again.
You're already
1688. Your friend Bhavin's in it. I'm not in it right now, but this thing is absolutely rocketing up, Joey. There it is. 1688. The halt time. 1247.07. Current tap, just 1 penny above the halt. 1689, Joey. We're halted at 1688. So I think that probably will develop into a different price look there. But keep your eye on FLYE. Keep your eye on CNCK. They're both running. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joey, but I want to point out that FLYE was
that thing's cooking, man. That thing's flying for sure. And then what's KLA doing?
It's breaking down, brother. It just popped into the dropped, I should say, into $1.70, where the 20 moving average is. I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on this one. My stop is below prior area low. Prior area low takes us to $1.65. It loses $1.65. It loses the last remaining amount that I have on this. We'll have to give back a little bit here, Joey, because with the ad, we got some 75s on now.
I mean, good luck. It popped, locked, and then now it's dropping. So there it is. Charlie, you're saying, Joe, you're short some Qs. Nice work, brother. Let's see if that can come into play. Supply zone, you might get the hedges start to push price down. Yeah, exactly. I took that one from Neil. So shout out to Mr. Roberts himself. But, man, it's tough because you're just continuously grinding higher. Charlie, I always say this when we are looking to trade the Qs, what are the big lads up to? So we have Amazon, NVDA, Apple. Let's put Microsoft back up here. And then also our good friend META, which was recovering half decently this morning. And we like this, man. META has been an absolute banger for us as of late.
Where are we at?
Considering
640. Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. No, we'll take that, right? As long as the pullback isn't too hefty, then I think we'll be okay. But Charlie, if you're going to stand in front of this slow grind, it might be one of those sessions. We've talked about this for quite some time now, especially off of those previous highs, is that around 230 is when the selling really starts to come in. So you might have to sit on your hands and sit through a little bit of pain before we get to those areas. MBIS is all green, seeing a lot of resistance on the big dogs. Tuesday may not want to be green. Just a thought. Yeah, absolutely. If that's what you're seeing, we do have it in Google, right? So you have that resistance zone. 180 potentially here on NVDA as well too. Amazon can't break through this previous pivot high, but the thing is this dog of a stock, and that's Apple, continuously just grinding higher and higher. And if the sell program, those algos aren't turned on, and it's just continuously buy all the dips where you're getting those micro pullbacks, it's really hard to go against some of these names.
Fabian, you bought a house in 2019. Don't look. You're cheating, bro.
Man, he's seen it.
You bought a house in Toronto in 2019, prior to COVID, prior to all the money printing. How much are you still up on your house in terms of percentage from what you bought at? So, for example, I'll just give you an example. So if you bought in 2019, in 2021, you were over 40% up on profit. Where are you at right now with Toronto real estate? Where do you think? You're at 17.5%, so you've given back more than half. Now, Fabian, I'm gonna have to put this to you now. If you had bought the Qs, I'm not gonna show you because you'll keep looking at the screen. If you had bought the Qs, so the Nasdaq 100, in 2019, Fabian, how much money are you up right now on that 2019 purchase? Percentage, not money.
100 at least.
You're 130%, dude. 130. Look at that. You only have 1 year where it made a lower low, and that was 2022, and everybody knows 2022 was a down year in the market. Eh?
Sell your properties now.
Sell your properties now. I don't know. We're already selling off a little bit. But look at this, Joey. And some people in the chat were saying, well, you need somewhere to live. Well, absolutely.
Absolutely.
For sure. But you don't have to put all your money into that. Like I feel like it's a Canadian thing, where it's like, I want to make my money off real estate, irrespective of the other investment vehicles out there. I know my parents were like that. My entire family was like that. They put their a lot of their investments into real estate, and they kind of ride that, and it's paid well. Now, like some other people will be like, well, Sharif, you can borrow against the house, right? You build up equity in that sucker, and then you pull that out, and you can borrow whatever, 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Well, aren't equities the same way? When you have fully paid stock, are you not offered 3 to 1, 4 to 1 margins that you can redeploy into a different asset class? It doesn't have to be equities. It could be crypto. It could be commodities. It could be anything else that runs. Right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, I don't get the whole thing. This is occupying my mind fully in these days. I'm just telling you. Yeah, rightfully I'm going to be talking about it a lot.
I mean, I think one thing about the real estate market is the ability to leverage your system. We know that you only have to put 5-10% down here, and you can take a mortgage out. So that's where you can obviously benefit from them. But as for an ROI standpoint, it's hard, man. When you have things priced at $1 million, what are you expecting in a span of 10 years for the thing to double? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And can I make one other point? We know how the mortgages work in this country. The majority of the payments that you make initially are going to what?
To interest.
To interest, not the principal. So you have nothing, you have very little, I should say, in the way of equity that you cannot redeploy, right? You're going to have so you got to be in the real estate game for a minute on that property, that same property, in order to kind of redeploy that equity.
It's like the first 10, 15 years, the majority of it is just going to interest.
Exactly.
And then after that is when you really start truly paying off.
Exactly. Man, this is, it's living rent-free in my mind. Brother, I got to tell you, like, this is really throwing me a curveball right now. Because, like, I had based, like, the last 6 months of my life thinking that this is what I'm aiming for, and now I don't like to be wishy-washy. You know, I don't like to change my opinion.
Yeah, you don't want to really bounce here and there.
But this is, it's just not the right move.
Let's not beat around the bush with it. You obviously own, you have your own spot as well too, but for some individuals, one thing that I know, and what I always say to people is that, hey, listen, if you're renting something and you decide to leave, you get nothing of that back.
You get nothing.
You get nothing about
that's
that,
true.
right?
It's very true.
Pardon me?
You get your first and last back, Fabian.
No, you don't even get that back. You don't even. You get your damage deposit or whatever.
Yeah, you don't even get that back.
Most of them are keeping that. But if you're owning something, at the end of the day, even though if you close at a loss, you still get some of that mortgage that which you are paying off back. Which I think is really important, right? So you're not just walking out of the door with completely nothing.
But it's not about that. It's about the opportunity cost. What'd you get back having committed X amount of money to a mortgage, and what you would get back having committed X amount of money to equities, or in this case, the index funds, right?
Exactly.
If you really want to keep it very straightforward and not have to pick winners and losers, it's the Qs for me.
It's the Qs.
It's not even the spot. It's the Qs for me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think both are great vehicles at the end of the day. But it's hard because both of them are such great generators of wealth. We know what happened in 2017, according to your chart, is when that return rate went parabolic. But at some point, it's like, hey, what are you expecting on $1 million home? Do you think you're going to see a 30% return, in which some people were anticipating during the COVID times? And then what happened to them?
And what happened?
They're selling their houses for a loss.
Exactly.
And you're not going to see
and
that.
Let's make another point very clear. We had a decade, almost and change, a decade, I would say, and a quarter of having what? Interest rates damn near zero. You think you're going to see that interest rate environment again? I don't think so, man.
What are we at, 4 or 5 right now? I was looking at it the other day. I think we're at 4,
you can get something if you shop around with a B lender, 4 and a quarter, right? You can get.
So
interesting comments from you guys. I mean, I agree with most of them. This guy, I don't know what his name is because Google's ruining obviously all the names there. Don't buy a home for investment purposes, only if you really want that pride of ownership and maintenance. I get that, brother. I just don't think that that's really what the best decision for your money really should be based about. I think somebody there said, look, your market's bottoming out, meaning the Toronto market. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's bad market. That's not what I mean at all. But again, it's about opportunity cost. Guys, all right, we're going to get back to stocks here because CNCK is just ripping faces off. Halted again, Joseph, at $6.19. It's up 91%, and it's got a lot of volume supporting it. This is the 5-minute chart here. This candle has about 665,000 candles, or sorry, 665,000 shares per this 5-minute candle. This one's got 200,020 because it did halt up, so it will be a little bit less thickly traded as this candle now is the halt candle. So CNCK up 91%, but so is FLYE, man. Halted $16.88. Rocketing up as well, 276%, and looking to go more, man. I don't even know what the theoretical auction price on these bad boys are, so let's take a look right now. Neither of these screens are. CNCK showing me 619. Is this a New York Nasdaq stock? So it's showing me the same price that we halted at. So nothing changing there. FLYE, now this one's substantially different, almost $1 higher than where we halted. Halt price, 1688. Tap level, 1775 now. What a move up for CNCK and FLYE, and FLYE's open. It's an $18 high a day. Halt level, as we mentioned, 1680 something. So look for that level to hold up. Right now, it's 17 that's holding up. There's a buyer in the mid-40s at 45 and 47. Up we go again into 70. The bid is moving up. The ask is not. And there's a new high a day, Joey, 1849, up over 300% now. It's all gas, no brakes right now on FLYE, or I should say all throttle, no air brakes on this one. Keep your eye on this one. This could hit $20 soon. The limit up is 1974. That's where we're going to halt if we reach that price within a certain amount of time. Keep your eye on the red rectangles right there where it says limit up, limit down, LULD, 1974. That's the limit up price. Want to move up here for FLYE. We're going to keep an eye out on CNCK as well. Christopher, could you please tell me why the breakout in FLYE today? I keep looking and don't see anything. Brother, it really doesn't matter with these small cap gappers, but if you really want something, let me have a look at the blotter here for you. Looking. I don't see anything new. Nope. No, I actually don't see anything. Good point. Yeah, all I'm getting on the blotter are just notifications that it's halting up and halting down, but I don't see anything news related. Now, that does play a factor a little bit into whether it continues to move up, but as you can see here, this guy's got no news catalyst. It's up 322%. So I put a kibosh in that theory as well. Joey, what do you got?
Yeah, same thing. One thing I wanted to mention, one more thing, Sharif. So when I was looking at places last night, so the unit that I sold literally across the street, so it's a lower rise building, $100,000 less
than what you sold
it for.
My man.
Even more.
My man.
Even
and condos
more.
are getting hit way harder than homes.
Even more.
Way harder. Like, dude, the guy below me just sold, and it's a couple actually, and they're an older couple. They're moving into what's it called? You know, residences for what are they called? Retirement homes. Not seniors homes, but retirement homes. Anyway, this dude sold for, I think, 150 less than he was listing for. And the only way I found out is I asked him point blank, because I'm obviously thinking about it, right? And he was just, dude, he was unhappy.
I would not
put it that way.
I would not be happy
150,000. And I got kind of pissed. I'm not going to lie.
I'd be like, why didn't you fire your real estate agent?
I didn't say that, but I should have. But him selling obviously hurts the building. Because you bring down exactly. It hurts the building, and so that's something that I obviously keep my eye on.
Really tough look. All right, guys. Yeah, right back into this here. I mean, there are the short signals definitely coming into play now. You take the first attempt, you don't get it, it wicks more people out, prints it again, and then starts to bleed a little bit lower. So there it is on the NVDA, on NVDA as well. But what I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm at the lower end of the range, and I like my chances here on Google. So I'm gonna take a little stab here to see if we can get involved. 317.50, we're close enough. We're 30 pennies away from that. So let's get this party started and see if we're going to break out the top end of the range. Now, if we're going to look at hot names, it has to be the likes of Google. And there it is, bang, starting to cook for us. Risk profile defined, guys. We only have to give it roughly, so we're in at 78. What is the breakup VWAP? 60 cents. Right? So that's not bad whatsoever. We're going to hold on to this, aim towards this prior resistance zone, and just keep an eye out on the tape. We're going to put on our quote highlights as well to see if there's going to be any definitive ladder on the bid and ask. that can give us a lot of direction. So let's make this a little bit smaller. We're going to send it over to, or put it over to 500, and then sure enough, we can see a little bit, but nothing substantial. Maybe we have to make this a little bit more cooler, so we'll go with 200 to see those quotes start to, and from what I'm realizing right now is that the ladder is on the bid side, which isn't the best signs, but we're going to keep an eye on the tape, and if we get those continuous flushes of green, that tells me that we have buyers participating and they are slightly aggressive, and that's what we want to see. But if the floor breaks and you snap through the volume weighted average price with velocity, watch out. I am going to be getting out of this trade 110%, my friend.
You guys should have tokenized your building, says JL822. Brother, let's just get an EV charging port in that. I got dinosaurs I got to deal with on the board there. And can I say something to you? Do you remember in July 2024 we had like that torrential downpour? A lot of people's basements got flooded. Yada yada yada. I don't know if you remember. Anyway, my condo, the basement where the gym is, ended up getting flooded, so it was shut down forever. It shut down again. It's been now a year, almost and a half, of an incomplete gym. Like, they opened it up for a bit, but it was like bare walls, and there was no television.
Really?
There was Wi-Fi, to be fair. Now it's completely empty. So, I mean, the dinosaurs in my gym, my condo, they don't really care about anything other than the things that matter to the older folk there, but they're not really interested in doing anything.
What is it for? Like, you're paying your maintenance fee. What are they spending? Obviously, your maintenance fees on.
Well, we're changing 4 elevators right now without a special assessment. So I was kind of happy about that.
Good. That's good. Yeah.
So it was all right.
And that's one thing you have to keep an eye out on, right? Like, people say, yeah, with housing you have maintenance. Obviously, you got to buy a new roof every X amount of years. But don't forget about the condo. The maintenance fee you never get back, and you can get hit with special assessments.
And they raise the maintenance fee every year.
10%.
Yeah. Well, no, we got
5%.
3%.
Really?
On mine, yeah.
So during COVID, so they didn't raise it. But on the year that they did, it was 10%, so it equaled out to 5%.
Yeah, because it was that huge inflation year, though, right?
There's no ceiling on that. In my opinion, because why would I want to own an older building with a higher maintenance fee?
Exactly, and the older buildings have higher maintenance fees by default, yeah.
So I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. There should be a ceiling on it. All right, guys, there we go. Let's go. Come on, Google, get this party started as we're starting to see a rebound. Amazon starting to climb. Guess who put in a new high of the day?
Who?
You guessed it, Apple, for sure. This thing is in its own world. Watch out for this volume print, though. Stepping in, Sharif. I don't know if you see this on your platform. Big time, big boy volume right there. 378,000 contract.
I do. I see that huge volume.
Shares traded so far right at that 280 level. We have to keep an eye on this because this could be something potentially massive. What is this telling us? Because it is the second largest print of the day. So there might be some news coming in here momentarily. We'll sit on our hands to wait and see. But aside from that, I'm stuck in a consolidative stock, and that is goggles, goggles, goggles.
All right, 1 sec. I'm just throwing in a stop on this stock over here. There's a seller at 73 on CNCK. Let's see if we can shake that seller. I'm going to post at 88. So just got in for like a small amount here so we can see if we get a price spike up on this bad boy. Seller at 73. We haven't seen anything above that level in a hot minute. 73, we're showing 59s where there's a seller, but FLYE is just absolutely rocketing up. It is now up 370%. Where is that FLYE? Up to 2140. It's all gas, no brakes on this one. Be careful with FLYE, though. It'll turn on you in a second. I'm just keeping my eye here on CNCK, as we did get a trade into this one, looking for a move into 7. But if it dips down, I think, or it's a candle of indecision, prior, an ugly topping tail candle, mind you. If it loses 6, I think I'm going to stop out. I already stopped out on that one, so we'll give back a little bit on CNCK there. Let's see if this one pops down or drops down into about 575. That's where VWAP is. VWAP's a little bit higher, I wouldn't say, than the 10 EMA right now. There seems to be a 6 buyer here, or generally in and around that area, Joey. We're going to start the news real soon, as it is now 1:05. Are you looking at anything specific?
No, I'm just still in the same trade, man. We can fire up the news at any given moment. Again, I'm not going to put on too many more trades today. I have plenty of risk. It's just not in sync. Nothing's working for me. I go long, it comes short. I go short, it goes long. So it's just one of those days you have to come to the realization that it is not yours. This can start working, and if it does, I'm prepared to add substantial more shares to it. But right now, I'm sitting on about a quarter of a risk, only giving it to the volume-weighted average price to see if we can even get this working. So again, just being self-aware is extremely important, guys. If it's not your session, guess what? We have tomorrow, we have Wednesday, we have Thursday, and we have Friday, and you want to keep those losses as small so you see that steady sloping equity curve. Full disclosure as well to you guys, on my IBIT position, I am selling some more calls. I thought we would see a little bit more of a sustained bounce than which we experienced, only up to about whatever price it was. I mean, really 90 something or whatever it may be. But yeah, selling some more calls that expire in early January, collect a little bit of premium. If we don't get a sustained bounce back up to 95, 97, I'm just gonna have to cut that position for a loss, and I'm okay with that. Someone said, cut the digital gold, buy real gold, and you'll sleep fine at night. I'm like, yeah, hey man, you might be right on that one. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on it, but still selling the poor man's covered calls, and we're gonna rock and roll with that, man.
All right, man. We did okay here on the second attempt here on CNCK. We got in at 22s and we took it out at 7. This candle has a current high of $7 almost on the dot. In fact, sorry, 702 to be exact. And this one's rocketing up back into 7. It is finding resistance almost at every $7 touch. The reason I got back into this one, I based it on prior bar low. So I said, look, we're already dipping down. We're right at prior bar low. If it loses $6, let's just get out at $6. So I did, and it ended up being a profitable trade. So we'll see if we can get back into this one. But for now, we're gonna stop for a second to Zuzi News. Let's see what we got here on the news on the day. Joey, let's bring it in from the side screen over here. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, well, we can just load it up again. Ain't no thing. Gmail, or where it is. Excuse me. Let's load up that bad boy. No, go away. Got it. It's not time for this at the moment. Oh, that's the wrong one, Joey. There we go. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second here to get ready. There we go. We're good to go. All right. This is an interesting day, obviously, in crypto land, as Joseph was just talking about right now. Crypto down again, and Bitcoin absolutely getting shellacked. It really depends on when your percentage up and percentage down day, or percentage up and down on the day timer starts, but we're down 6.86 on my chart on Bitcoin, 9.5 on ETH, 9.5 on Solana. So there's blood in the streets anywhere you look here in the world of crypto. Let's talk about it. Bitcoin slid about 5.4%. That was in the pre-market. Now it's worse, down to 86,435. Now it's at 85 and barely holding on. Extending, of course, the broader October-November correction and reinforcing that bearish momentum that we've had as of late in crypto. ETH fell even more, as I mentioned, 9.5% now. Solana down, Dogecoin down. It's a broad risk-off rotation across all major crypto assets. Not really anything spared. Couple of reasons. We'll get to the main one in a second, but this article was positing that the People's Bank of China over the weekend issued a warning about illegal digital currency activities, adding stress to the Asian-listed crypto-exposed equities, and investors continue viewing China's stance as an ongoing regulatory overhang that's suppressing regional risk appetite, of course, out in Asia for crypto and Bitcoin, of course, as well as blockchain-linked equities. But the real reason, I don't really know what the real reason is. One of the major reasons, lately anyway, has been the flushing of leverage positions. Fed Watch advisors, Ben Emmons, shout out to Dan DeMan Emmons, who used to be in the chat all the time. He highlighted a $400 million exchange liquidation as a major catalyst for Monday's sharp reversal. Bitcoin exchange leverage remains extreme, with up to 200 times leverage available. That's for the local, I want to say onshore brokerages. But if you want to go offshore, it gets way crazier than that. 1,200 leverage I saw. An estimated $787 billion in perpetual futures exposures that are outstanding.
I don't even know what that is. I gotta look that up. In comparison, only about $135 billion sits outstanding across spot Bitcoin ETFs, which is a mismatch that magnifies liquidation cascades during the sell-offs. That's a whole lot of information and a whole lot of big words. Joey, what's your take on why we keep selling off on crypto?
You know what? I honestly, if I knew the answer to it, I think I would be able to perform on this thing substantially better. It's just unfortunate than what we're seeing. As for the liquidation, Sharif, it's crazy to think that people are going to over leverage themselves on this little move from 84,000 up to 92, and then sure enough that you're having these liquidation events. This was the largest ever. But let's not beat around the bush on the fact that the IBIT is BlackRock's most profitable asset yet, which is absolutely insane. This thing has been one of the best performing ETFs of all time from a revenue standpoint. Now, is it performing from an equity standpoint good? No, absolutely not. But again, if we head back to what we're seeing from the technicals, this is in the nature of the beast. It does these things. And sure enough, what it's going to do, and in my opinion, is that it's going to weave everyone out to the point where it's like, hey, is it truly even worth it anymore? And then at that point, you never know, the asset can turn around. I think that we're going to see 68s. Why? Because that was that November of 2021 high. It seems like we're heading towards that now with another liquidation event. You have the momentum to the downside. And if key support levels continue to be breached, like Neil said, you have to continue to look for that next specific level. No, I don't love it, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to sit here and shy away from the fact that it's done these 50% retracements before. So what Kevin O'Leary said this morning is you have to be ready to stomach the volatility, and we're experiencing that right now, considering we're down 41,000, a little bit more from that previous high.
Look at the company that was doing the 1,200 times leverage, company called Coin Futures. When I did my video on TikTok like a couple of weeks ago, it was 1,200. Now they're dropping it. It's up to 1,000 times leverage now for certain pairs. So you have to trade Bitcoin with like another pair, and then you get. But like MEXC, like if you type in MEXC 500 times BTC leverage, here it is. Trade BTC, ETH, altcoin futures with up to 500 times leverage. This is crazy stuff now. But now look, it looks like they're dropping it, Joey. Now that the Google input was wrong, now they're saying 200 times leverage. So I think some of these brokerages are pulling back a little bit the amount they're offering you, which makes sense because the asset class keeps dropping. Why would they keep offering?
So there has to be some more clarity on this stuff. And
dude, they're not. What's it called? Onshore exchanges.
They're offshore.
They're offshore exchanges, and that's what I'm saying, right? We can't regulate these bad boys.
Listen, let's not kid here. I thought more of this clarity would have drove Bitcoin to new all-time highs, but that's not the case whatsoever. We're actually seeing the total opposite, down 35%.
All right, let's go on to the next story, guys. Intel jumps new catalyst possibly to a 2027 Apple Foundry deal. Nothing is for sure. Let's talk about this, though. Intel shares ramped up on Friday to the tune of 10%. Where are they at right now? INTC down 1.18, but above $40 nonetheless. After TF International, Ming-Chi Kuo said industry checks show improving visibility on Intel supplying Apple with its lowest end M series processor. Kuo expects Intel to begin shipping these chips to Apple in Q2 or Q3 of 2027. So we have a long way to go, but it is contingent on Apple receiving Intel's process design kit in early 26, so they can make a decision, a good assessment. Apple currently relies exclusively, I should say, on Taiwan Semiconductor for all of its A-series and M-series chips, and Intel re-entry would mark a significant and meaningful milestone for the company. Ming-Chi Kuo also went on to stress the initial volumes will be small and they will have no material hit to Taiwan Semi's fundamentals, but added the partnership signals renewed trust by big tech and some of these other companies in Intel, and specifically in their foundry business and their ability to make these chips. Apple support for Intel would also align with U.S. policy momentum, which is encouraging local semiconductor manufacturing. Joey, when President Trump took an interest, of course a U.S. taxpayer took an interest, but on the instructions of President Trump to get into Intel, what's the first thing that I said he was going to do? Look for a customer, bro.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
first thing he was going to do. Obviously, he's going to be persuading people behind the scenes that they should be looking to Intel as a foundry. We already saw a possible tie-up with AMD. Now we're hanging with Apple. Not quite yet with NVIDIA, which is still relying exclusively on Taiwan Semi, but we don't know what the future brings. Let's go on and see what this could mean for Intel in the future. Analysts note that landing Apple as a foundry client would validate Intel's high-performance foundry strategy, potentially attracting other major chip designers. It should be noted that this is for their 18A node, not their 14A node, which is more like the 3 and the 4 nanometer in Taiwan Semi speak. Intel last week was referenced in a Taiwan Semi lawsuit involving alleged leaks of a confidential information by a former TSMC exec. Intel declined to comment. It should be noted that that dude's house was raided in Taiwan. They went through all his crap, and they're accusing him. I don't know the exact details. I saw little snippets here and there, but of taking trade secrets when it comes to the foundry, and obviously moseying on over for a new job at Intel and showing them all that he had to offer there.
There you go. So that's how you get hired. But no, in all seriousness, it helped. The Apple News helped.
BYND is breaking out.
The BYND
is breaking out. I have no idea why, but it is. Yeah.
I mean, we'll take a look at that. But no, as for Intel, guys, we've seen the stock trading significantly higher. Yeah, look at the volume step in here on BYND.
Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. So $1.15 right there. Good call out, Sharif. Let's see if that momentum can be sustained. But one thing that wasn't is the momentum in Intel. I thought this would be some big time news for the name. But at the end of the day, you have to take into consideration, ever since the United States government took that 10% stake, the stock is doubled, essentially, around $23 lows. Now you're trading around $40. That's a pretty good look. And I said that from the get. As soon as they take that stake in the company, you want to get involved with it. And sure enough, they're starting to strike deals here, a little there. You collect these small wins, and next thing you know, you're at levels in Intel that you would have never guessed from before. Yeah, there goes BYND.
It's going, man. I'm keeping an eye on it. $1.15 high. Keep your eye on this one. I have no idea what it's moving, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out. All right, Adara, give us your take on Intel.
I think with this INTC story, I do want to say a larger thing about Ming-Chi Kuo, the analyst who brought us the story. So I've noticed a lot here just on social media and in general, a lot of people are very willing to believe Ming-Chi Kuo if he says something nice about their stock, and then they're immediately like, oh, he's just speculating if they see something he doesn't like. My approach with Ming-Chi Kuo is generally this guy seems to be pretty on the money. He comes at things from, as Sharif mentioned, we're talking like second half or Q3 here of 2027. So this is a long way down the line. What I'm trying to make is whether you like him or not, I think you should probably look at Ming-Chi Kuo's analysis from an analytical perspective instead of like, oh, he's going after my stock, because he's had a lot of positive things and negative things to say about a variety of countries or companies. His stuff isn't really bias specific. I do want to mention that. I also want to mention here, Lip Bhutan has done incredibly for the Intel stock. Stock's up almost 60% since his tenure began in mid-March of 2025. Now, it's also interesting. Today, December 1st marks the 1-year anniversary since Pat Gelsinger, former CEO of Intel, was ousted. Now, the stock is up about 65, almost 70% from when he left. So market clearly likes Lip Bhutan, but to kind of build off of what Sharif said too, I think a lot of this Intel buying started when Trump gets interested. We know what starts to get Trump interested in Intel is when he starts to have some concerns about Lip Bhutan as CEO. Then these concerns are assuaged, then he invests. So interesting look. And yeah, I think Lip Bhutan deserves a lot of the credit for this stock move.
Thank you very much for that. All right, let's go on to the next story. It's not obviously directly related to Boeing, but we're going to talk about Airbus because they have a big issue right now, and obviously their main competitor is Boeing, so we'll see if they can eat their lunch. Airbus shares dropped over 10%. I don't know where that right now, but their worst session since March of 2020. Of course, March of 2020 was the COVID sell-off after reports of a new industrial quality flaw, which is affecting fuselage panels on dozens of the smaller A320 family of aircraft, many variants of the A320 as there are of the 737, same ilk. The issue is currently delaying upcoming deliveries, though no evidence suggests aircraft already in service are impacted, according to the article. The fuselage panel flaw comes just days, Joey, after Airbus dealt with that major software glitch affecting about 6,000 A320 family jets globally. The vast majority of affected aircraft have now been modified after the weekend disruption, but the glitch, which grounded more than half the fleet, caused large-scale delays during, one of the busiest times of travel, at least in the United States, of course, with Thanksgiving. The software failure was linked to solar flares. It created widespread operational chaos across major travel corridors. We're talking about, spilling over into the U.S. holiday travel. It impacted airlines all across Asia, where there's a lot of A320s, especially for those shorter haul flights. And it reached as far as Australia, Joey. So Airbus, we always make fun of Boeing for using door plugs and dish soap and all the, well-noted jokes that we've made. But this seems to be like an industry thing. The airline industry seems just to suck at the moment.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm thinking here, Shreve,
what do you think?
With Airbus, it's like, okay, you allowed Boeing to write the handbook of essentially what not to do and how to have the FAA against you, and then you're gonna fall into this.
You're gonna fall into it.
Like, essentially, at the end of the day, there's only two commercial airlines. Manufacturers, airplane manufacturers. You have Boeing and Airbus.
Yeah.
So why are you guys complicating everything? Get it right the first time and do what you have to do, because you can dominate the space. There's no one else taking market share from you.
No, and if you're talking about Bombardier,
but that's such a small.
It's tiny.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even Assassino and I talk about Embraer all the time, the Brazilian airline. They're just not as big.
They're like fraction of a percent, right? It's literally, I think the market share that Boeing holds is high 70s or something compared to what Airbus has, right?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, it's substantially higher.
Really?
Substantially higher. It's not even close. And it's like, you guys can't get this right. You guys run a monopoly, essentially. If the SEC should be after anybody, it should be Airbus and Boeing.
Yeah, well, it's about time American regulators shake down some European companies, because they shake down American companies all the time.
Like no tomorrow.
I want to mention that the Chinese revealed one of their short-haul flights, airplanes, I should say, at the Dubai Air Show. It's not going to compete with the bigger wide-body Airbus and Boeing, but the Chinese are throwing their hat into the ring, and what that spells lately. So, Meta's tanking, according to Fearless Creation 387.
It's definitely not tanking.
I have no idea, brother. The Fearless Creation.
I'm looking
making
at it
me worried a little bit over here.
It dropped $2.
All right, let's talk about Carvana, because they got some love today from UBS. CVNA, where is this at right now? We up or down? We're up 0.18. We're off the highs, but we're up. So UBS launched coverage, so they initiated coverage on Carvana with a buy rating and a $450 price target, Katina Man, which is implying a 20% upside from the close on Friday. Analyst Joseph Spack, I wonder if he's friends with Chamath, views Carvana as a true disruptor in the fragmented used car market, and he cites accelerating customer migration towards online buying rather than the bump and grind kind of crap that you got to go in with these used car dealers. Carvana currently holds, look at this, Joey, they only hold 1.5% of the U.S. used vehicle car market, but UBS is actually forecasting that could grow to 4%. So more than doubling by the end of the decade, by 2030 is what they're saying, as consumer adoption of online car purchasing increases. And they're actually saying they could even expand that a little bit more. They're saying Carvana has a stated internal goal of selling 3 million units per year. And if they do that, based on current numbers, they'll hit an 8% market share. UBS views that as possible, but not exactly likely. Carvana's retail gross profit per unit GPU, not the NVIDIA GPUs, is 2 times the industry average, and UBS expects sustained GPU expansion as the company scales and extracts efficiencies by inspecting and their inspection and reconciliation centers. So not buying cars that are going to be more trouble or harder to fix, as well as reconditioning them in a more efficient way. The integration of ADESA. Have you ever been to some of these ADESA auctions?
No.
They basically run the car auctions called ADESA auction sites. Also wider logistics and cost optimizations, they're saying. And UBS is forecasting they could hit that 3 million unit per year within 5 to 10 years. So not the longest runway. The shares are already up 84% year to date, Joey. We used to make fun of this stock. Where was this stock in 2022? I think it was $2.
Dude.
It was $2, I think. What was that? No. Go
like
back more.
$6. It's $22, man. Yeah,
$6.
like $3.
There you go.
I mean, I find it hard. It's weird the success this company has had. I don't know if I should call it weird, but it's interesting nonetheless. But with a weakening consumer, how well can we actually perform in the long run? And I think this thing has been going opposite for quite some time. I just find it really, really curious. I did hear, though, there was a short report, I'm pretty sure, somewhere, Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been, it wasn't in February, it might have been before that, but someone dropped a short report on Carvana, and it didn't go well whatsoever.
There's always somebody
dropped
dropping.
one. It was in January, and I believe that was actually their last short report that they did before they decided to close shop.
Yeah, so there you go. But from that point, the April lows drastically outpacing the Nasdaq, up 151%. What the consumer's weakening? Where they're buying used cars?
Hindenburg.
I don't know.
Hindenburg.
Dropped the short report.
They did.
So I mean,
it was in January.
If you throw that out the window, Sharif, because whoever was shorting it from that point is definitely under the water, because you're not far from those previous all-time highs,
No,
right?
man,
Like you're
you're not.
412. You're 9%, 8.5% to be exact.
Wow.
But I don't know. I've never personally seen a stock go from when it was trading at around $378 down to $3. No splits, no reverse splits in between, going from $3 up to back up to almost $400.
Crazy.
I've never personally seen that before. I didn't think it was achievable.
That's intense.
Let alone in a space where we know it is tough. The vehicle market is tough.
Yes, man.
And you
Used
have
cars,
these
especially.
And you have these used cars.
Can I say one thing, though? You know why they have a bit of a tailwind?
Why?
Because number one, new cars suck. Number two, they're really expensive.
Really?
And their starting price is just stupid.
As soon as you take it off the lot, you're down 10%.
Dude, can I tell you, man? I was driving my old man's car on the weekend. So he used to have an E-Class, and then last year he bought a C-Class for the same price.
Yeah.
He bought an E-Class 4 in 2019, mind you, okay?
Yeah.
Same price. Dude, what's all this plastic inside?
Yeah.
This is a
They
Benz.
get it
It's
cheaper.
plastic everywhere. Like, have the Germans lost their way? I have no idea. German manufacturers,
Yeah.
of course. I don't mean German people. But I was not impressed whatsoever
No,
driving.
eh?
Yeah, like, God bless him, he loves the car.
You know
but
it's cheap when you tap on it and it's hollow. And
dude, it was plastic everywhere.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, G-Talk, mids, sevens, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend, for dropping that. Please say happy birthday. Please say happy birthday to my girl, Debbie Bird. Happy birthday, Debbie. We're sending you a lot of love from Joseph and I and the whole panel here. Your boy G-Talk, mid somethings, shouting you out there, and I hope you guys have a great one. We're going to pause for a second, Joey. We're going to Adair.
absolutely. Apple high of the day.
Yeah, we're going to take a look here at COST, not moving too much, but interesting story. I'm hearing that the company is apparently joining now a group of other companies that are suing for refunds should the Trump tariffs, quote unquote, fail. So I guess if these tariffs aren't really the boom that they've been promised to be, looks like Costco will be one of those companies suing for refunds in that case. I do want to mention as well, I just heard in my ear, it'll be about 2 minutes until we get the Caroline Leavitt White House press briefings. That is, of course, the White House press secretary. Oftentimes, the market and market-related things and companies can be mentioned during these briefings. I'll be keeping an ear out. If anything happens of note, I will keep you guys posted.
Let's talk about Disney. A strong showing for Zootopia 2. I don't even know what that is. I don't care. Delivers record weekend, apparently so. The 2025 Thanksgiving box office generated a little bit less than $300 million over 5 days, ranking as the third or fourth strongest Thanksgiving weekend ever, really depending on the sales from yesterday's totals, Sunday's totals. Disney's Zootopia 2 led the period with an estimated $156 million in sales, powering the overall holiday momentum. The weekend trailed the years of 2018 as well as 2024, but still marked one of the best holiday box office performances on record. Should mention that Disney is up 2% and near the day's high. Zootopia 2 delivered the largest global opening for an animated film ever, totaling $556 million and ranked as the fourth largest global opening of any film. Okay, maybe theater is back. I have no idea. IMAX as well too, Joey. People like that. IMAX reported the best Thanksgiving weekend ever, generating 40.8 million. That's up 70% from the 2024 record, which was a record, by the way. So good look here. And then Wicked, which I'm not going to even talk about that. But good look there for Disney, brother.
Wicked is wicked, my friend. Oh, you know what that's actually from, though?
Where?
Wicked is wicked. That's Maze Runner. Maze Runner. Yeah.
Okay.
Wicked. No, but in all seriousness, I didn't think Zootopia was going to be performing like that. That's pretty intriguing. But I mean, as for Disney, slowly grabbing more market share from some of these big-time streamers, right? The likes of Netflix, Amazon Prime, and continuing to gain its ground. What you have in the pipeline is extremely important. You know, this name went through a dead era when it comes to the box office for quite some time. Slowly starting to pick. What was it? Snow White. That was a complete dud.
That did really poorly.
The live
Zegler
action
woman?
The live action was a complete disaster. And I mean, it's good to see things start to come back into play, but I don't know if Zootopia, obviously the numbers speak for themselves, but in this type of time, do you think that this deserves to be one of the best animated films totally at the box office? That's insane. But once again, pipeline is huge, but the stock hasn't been performing good whatsoever, and that's surprising considering the parks segment. I think.
Last time I was at the theater, I watched what's it called, Black Panther. That was the last thing that I saw in the theater, and that was like before COVID.
Yeah, but I mean, like, think about it. So we have AMC and some of these major theaters just going underwater because everybody just streams at home now. Yeah. Right? Who wants to go home? Who wants to go home and spend, or who wants to go to the theater, spend $15 on a bag of popcorn? $40.
It's a little bit expensive,
thing, right?
Exactly.
It's not.
And somebody in their chat was saying, Joey, that they're really Darth Trader PM. They're raising ticket prices. Tickets are sold. Tickets sold are down. Interesting. Okay, so it's like a higher unit price, but total like actual different individual sales are down. I didn't know that to be the case, but that's what you're saying there.
I mean, with AMC theaters closing shop left, right, and center, I don't think there is very many here in Ontario anymore.
I don't see any AMCs. There used to be one in Scarborough that's gone.
There was one in Vaughan as well.
There was one in Vaughan. I remember that.
Across the highway from IMAX.
I remember it, and that's probably why it closes, because Colossus ate its lunch.
Yeah, it's gone.
AMC is bigger in the States, I noticed. It's Cineplex here, right?
Cineplex here.
All right, let's go on to the next story, Joey. UNH exiting South America with a $1 billion sale of Banmédica. So United Health Group has agreed to sell Banmédica, its last South American operation, to Brazil's Patria Investments for a cool billy. The deal ends a multi-year effort to fully exit the Latin American market after previous divestitures in Brazil and Peru. Banmédica currently operate in Colombia and Chile, serving 1.7 million insurance members, and they're running 7 hospitals and 47 medical centers. So big company. United Health boosted its profit outlook in October and expects a return to revenue and earnings growth in 2026. And they're saying with an acceleration coming possibly in 27. The financial impact in Latin America here, they recorded an $8.3 billion loss last year tied to the divestiture in that continent. They lost $7.1 billion in Brazil, $1.2 billion from Banmédica, and the exit effectively closes, Joey, a chapter that had weighed on the company's results. They're looking at doing something else with that money.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. Down 63%. I mean, there's been a lot of hurdles for UNH over the past, I guess, year since November of 2024. And they're slowly starting to rebound. It's small wins. You want to accumulate those small wins, right? We had the death of the CEO, lawsuits as well, too. So, I mean, stepping away, I don't know. Maybe in the long run, that's a better play, Sharif, for the books. But you can't deny the fact that from the middle of the summer, you still have a half-decent bounce from the lows here. Up around 60% at the highs, sitting around 40% off of those lows. I wouldn't be surprised if this name recovers a little bit.
Something tells me this company is going to figure a way to return to profitability, or like, it is profitable, but to return to the old ways. And here's why I say that. They have a lot of headwinds. The boomers are all getting old, and they're all going to require, obviously, insurance. Yeah. And the thing is, you think that would be a tailwind for them. But look what the U.S. government is doing. They're negotiating with all these health companies, whoever it is,
premiums.
Exactly. Exactly. So that eats into margins. So the government's broke. They don't have any money. They can't pay out these huge sums. So what are they going to do? they're gonna basically negotiate or put pressure on some of these companies. So to me, even though you've got a tailwind in one sense, you do have a headwind in another.
I find it so interesting when we talk about the governments being broke. It's just like, what do you do with all that money being funneled in? Like, think about how many levels of tax we're taxed on.
Let's not get into that.
But no, but seriously, what goes on here? Who's managing?
I don't know where the money goes, bro.
How do you run deficits when literally every individual who's working is paying tax?
I don't know, bro. And it's not just one level we're paying tax.
No.
Like that
It's
same
on
dollar
everything. How
is
many
like
times is
taxed
that
4
$1
times. Yeah,
taxed?
it's all good,
Right?
brother.
It's not all
Well, there's nothing we can do about it. So you're just gonna really aggravate yourself at this
that's
point.
That's all it does. It's insane how many times the same dollar is taxed. It's crazy. It's insane, and they don't have any money. Like, what's our mayor's name again?
Stop. Of course I can, Assassino.
Yeah.
But if I do our mayor, I'm gonna get canceled because I have a really funny
Sharif, you know what?
I have a
Next
really
thing you know,
funny
you're
copy
parking-
of her, Joey.
Your parking tickets are going to be $200, and then there's going to be a more substantial increase on your property tax every year.
Every year, it's already up 25% in the past 3 years. I gotta rent my place from the government. It's fantastic. Let me know when, Assassino. All right, new traders, listen up. Ozan, where are you at? The first month, it is absolutely free. That's right. We're waiving all the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder, all by upgrading to that elite experience where you'll analyze, you'll strategize, and you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything: infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. And you can predict better with their backtesting tool. You get reliable, real-time data, global markets at the tips of your fingers. It's an all-in-one platform, so do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, you need to scan that QR code or check the link in the description of the video. Shout out to eSignal. And this one, shout out to Bovin, still trading this. Look at this one, Assassino. This is a great looking chart, eh? CNCK rocketing up, 750 high. It's showing me 7 1/3. It's up 125%. CNCK, very strong. And most notably, finding support at key areas, the volume weighted average price, the 10 EMA on the 5. So I like that. I like that predictability that shows, I hate to use that word predictability, but that it is kind of vibing with the trend and with these indicators. So CNCK up 126% and a couple of pennies off highs. I feel like by the time I'm done talking over here, it's going to be above 750 because that is currently the high of the day. Let's go on to the next story though. Tesla faces another sharp drop in European sales. Yes, again, their November registrations fell sharply year over year, sliding 58% in France, 49% in Denmark. In all of France, they sold about a little bit less than 1,600 cars. And in Denmark, they sold 534 cars. 534 units. The Model Y, once a top seller all across Europe, ranked only 23rd in Denmark, and they only sold 206 Model Ys in all of Denmark. So 206 out of those 534. Yeah. By the way, I got a text on the weekend, unsolicited, from Tesla, trying to weasel me into a Model Y. They're giving 1.99% on a Model Y long range on their performance. You're still paying 3.99.
Yeah.
But those are all below market, so they're subsidizing that rate, by the way. Tesla's European slowdown, as we all know, began after CEO Elon Musk publicly supported right-leaning political figures. Even though Musk has toned down his political commentary, the reputational risk here, or hit, I should say, appears to be quite sticky. But there are other reasons why Tesla's not performing in Europe, most notably competition, especially from Chinese automakers who are rapidly expanding and offering more modern designs at lower price points, mind you, and more advanced in some ways, by the way. Analysts warn, Joey, that price cuts alone cannot fix the problem, as consumers increasingly view non-Tesla EVs as equal to or superior than the Tesla cars. However, the updated Model 3, one of their variants, Joey, is not yet available in Europe, delaying a potential recovery. It's not all the Model 3s. Apparently one of the standard range, I think, the cheaper one, not available in Europe as of yet.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. For quite some time, we've just seen the decline of Tesla's global dominance. But again, when you're at the top of the food chain, there's only really one way to go, Sharif, and unfortunately that's down.
Bang.
You mentioned that we had the Chinese EVs coming into play as well. They're going to chew up market share, right? It's just as simple as it is. I'm not going to put all of this on the blame, and we mentioned obviously China coming into Europe as well. But yes, the brand damage was substantial. But do you think that was just something that led to almost an inevitable decline anyways with China coming into play? So it's like, hey, we don't want to mind whatever Elon's doing. We're just going to find a cheaper alternative that is equally as good. And then you had the BYD start stepping in. And just, you've seen the growth within that. But that's because they're new to the market and have the ability to go on that growth path, in which we've seen Tesla do multiple years ago. But so what I'm getting at here is when you're at the top of the food chain, unfortunately, there's only one way to go.
Downhill. You know, you're bang on because you bring up a really good point. When like Tesla held like 80% of the EV market share, everybody was saying, look, this number can only go down. It's not going to go up.
You're not going to take from more. And I mean, it's kind of comparing apples to oranges, but we're seeing that in a certain space now. And do we think that that can change?
Obviously, yeah.
Right?
We don't have an NVIDIA headline today. If we did, we'd be getting deep into ASICs, which is obviously application-specific integrated circuits. We have to talk about that. It's possibly very disrupting to NVIDIA, but that is for a different day. Adara, give us your take on Tesla.
I'm going to talk about Norway because honestly, it continues to flummox me. Like, sure, Denmark did pretty well. Tesla has already become the most sold brand in Norway in a year ever, surpassing Volkswagen, which they set this benchmark back in 2016. Now, Tesla has sold more vehicles in Norway, again, than Volkswagen did that year, and the year isn't even done yet, guys. So great look here for TSLA, specifically in Norway. And it's interesting, too, as mentioned in Sharif's morning note, Denmark, sure, they did okay, but that was specifically Model 3, not Model Y. Well, Norway is doing really well and also leading in Model Y. So I continue to find it very interesting how this one teeny little Scandi country is selling so many more Teslas compared to its European peers. I do have to give Norway a quick shout out there because, yeah, I mean, like, I continue to think if Tesla just wants to keep focusing its emphasis here on Norway and Europe, like, hey, maybe move away from the areas where you're not doing the best, the countries that maybe don't want you, and focus your marketing on this country that clearly loves what you're offering. Maybe a novel idea, but I think at this point it's definitely poised to work. I have to give a hats off to Elon's Norwegian team, and I also have to mention Caroline Levitt now taking questions here during her press conference. She hasn't said anything of note to the market yet, guys. Back to you.
But let's talk about this as well.
Yeah.
Their smallest car, what's their smallest car?
The 3, right?
It's Model 3.
Yeah.
In Europe.
You would think that would be.
Hold on. Yeah. That's a big car in Europe. That's the thing, right? Like, to me, if Elon really wanted to move the needle in Europe, he would cater to their market demand, and that is generally for smaller cars. He hasn't done that. No. Despite the fact that we got information about a Model 2 or a Model Q, whatever the hell that they were calling it. We didn't get that, Joey. No. We got cheaper Model Ys and cheaper Model 3s. I'm assuming because he doesn't have the space to put that production line, so he's just varying the current production lines that he has.
Do you think that he's maybe trying to hold on to a narrative of Tesla kind of being that foreign vehicle you drive around, caters to the higher end consumer, et cetera, et cetera?
I get that. I get that. That's fine. But at the same time, like, you can't just watch, blood continue to drip and be like, hey, let me not do anything about it, right?
Yeah,
right. Whether you like it or not, you think that Europe's the future or not. The current market in Europe is still quite big. They do have buying power, so you got to put some respect on their name.
Buying power on what Model 3 registrations at 326 units in the month of November.
Well, they're not buying his cars, Joey. It doesn't mean they're not buying cars. If we look at the car market,
exactly, they're not buying his cars at the end of the day.
That's what I'm saying.
With 326,
I don't know, man.
Triple digits that's not good, man. It's not good whatsoever.
Let's go on and talk a little silver here. We'll just go over this one quickly because we don't have too many commodities traders, but silver's been rocketing up, guys. Long known as the devil's metal, not the devil's lettuce. 420 Bud Monster, I see you there, my boy. The devil's metal for its volatility. It hit record highs in 2025, reaching $54.47 an ounce in October, and a 71% year-over-year increase before partially retracing. Experts say the current cycle differs from past spikes like in 1980 and 2011 because a powerful mix of tight supply as well as structural demand, not just speculation, is starting to take hold here. So they're saying it's a different tune this time around. Whether that's right or wrong,
Time will tell. Delivery pressures also became so intense that some buyers flew silver by air to meet their obligations. London vault inventories have fallen from 31,000 metric tons in 2022 down to 22,000 metric tons now, the lowest in years. And the October squeeze pushed overnight borrowing rates, Joey, to 200% annualized, stressing traders and exacerbating the spike. What do you make of silver, man? Is this just like one of those things where commodities tend to run for a lot longer and then mean revert back?
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm going back in the history of this, and you're not seeing any drastic pullbacks. Like, nothing's crazy, I guess, with the exception of what we're experiencing. But this is almost 15 years ago, Sharif, that it was in a decline. I find it interesting. Just what we're seeing the Chinese do with just stacking up that gold reserve, buying an insane amount. I think we're seeing this in the likes of silver. So, I mean, I don't know if you can go wrong. We say the longer the consolidation, the larger the breakout. Well, think about it. You were trading in a $4 or $5 range for the better part of 5 years, almost 4 years, Sharif. So, can this move be sustained? I think so. And especially if we're looking over here as like going back to the commodities, in which we're seeing gold continue to climb, are we going to get, I'm not going to call it a laggard play, but almost a catch up in silver compared to what we've seen over in gold for the past over a year or so, right? Like gold has been absolutely insane. I thought that on multiple occasions that we were going to cool down. Look at this run. You're on essentially a 4-year run. Oh, so
take it from Jan.
Of what year?
This year. Let's just do this year. I mean, like, what are we supposed to do? What is that, the monthly?
Yeah. Okay. This is the weekly. So we'll go to January.
Let's take from Jan, yeah. Where's that at? There you go. What's that gold?
To the peak, 63%.
All right, let's see what silver is at. 63, that's not bad, man.
That's pretty good, man.
Louise.
So we'll go to January, 2025 here.
Where's that at? Yeah, there you go.
Right around here. So we'll go January 26th. There, we'll get it precise.
Hold that up. What are we at?
96.
96?
So outperforming. Yeah.
So it's outperforming gold.
It's outperforming.
That's crazy.
But think about it. It's outperforming for, I guess, in a span of a year. So that's fair enough.
We're almost at the end of the year.
But the growth was definitely in the past couple of months.
Yeah, you can definitely see that.
Right?
You can certainly see that. All right, let's talk a little bit here about Amazon and Google launching a new multi-cloud networking service. And it's a good look after the October 20th outage by AWS. Let's talk about this. Amazon, Google jointly unveiled a new multi-cloud networking service designed to let customers create private, high-speed links between AWS and Google within minutes instead of weeks. The move targets enterprise demand for high reliability connectivity, even brief outages can cause cascading failures. It's a strategic shift in the multi-cloud interoperability. From my understanding, it was hard to migrate from one cloud provider to another. Apparently, they're making it a little bit easier. This is, of course, a bit over a month after the October 20th AWS outage, which affected thousands of global websites. We're talking about Snapchat, your Reddits, all were down. Parametrics estimates U.S. businesses suffered between $500 million to $650 million in losses just from that single event. And this new joint service is positioned sort of as a way to reduce that systemic risk on these cloud providers, Joey. So what do you make of this? Obviously, it's not really the biggest market-moving headline, but AWS does remain the global cloud leader, followed by Azure and then Google.
No, I think it's interesting, right? You're just continuously moving forward and make things more simplistic for obviously the hyperscalers or whatever it may be, the cloud, people who are using and buying up cloud space. So as for Google and Amazon, I think these are going to be some of the key drivers. Amazon, I think with AWS, is going to weigh a little bit more than as in the Google Cloud. Why? Because you obviously have the e-commerce side, and then obviously AWS and hyperscalers spending all this money. But cloud slowly gaining more share, but there's more in the pipeline and more positive going for Google, I think, at the end of the day. So, yeah, it's very interesting, to be honest with you. But multi-cloud, I think you're going to start to see this a lot more intertwined. Who knows, with Azure, you might see some more individuals team up after that.
Good point. Let's talk about Micron. Micron at the day's high, over 2%. On the back of this headline here, they're going to invest 1.5 trillion yen, about $9.6 billion US, to build a new advanced HBM memory plant, high bandwidth memory, in Hiroshima, according to Nikkei. The construction is expected to begin in May of 2026. That is a typo, pardon me. with shipments beginning around 2028, so it's a longer term capacity expansion. Japan's Ministry of the Economy, Trade and Industry may provide up to 500 billion yen, or about $3.2 billion in subsidies for the build-out. And Tokyo continues to offer substantial subsidies to attract foreign chip makers, including Micron and Taiwan Semi, with their goal, obviously, to rely less on Taiwan as they perceive that to be, politically in flux. And we know what the new Prime Minister of Japan, her comments in whatever, I think, what is it called, their parliament? I don't know exactly what the legislative body is called there, but she made sort of overtures about what she would have to do, what Japan would have to do if Taiwan was moved on by mainland China. And that caused, obviously, some tensions between the two countries. High bandwidth memory demand, though, is surging big time due to rapid expansion in AI, machine learning, and hyperscale data centers. The new plant strengthens Micron's positioning in the race against SK Hynix as well as Samsung. SK Hynix still leads the pack. In fact, Samsung and SK Hynix are 1, 2, and then it's Micron 3. So the South Koreans pretty much dominate HBM here, Joey, but we also know HBM, you can have a glut of inventory and you can't move this stuff, and all of a sudden the price drops through the bottom, and then you can't get enough of it at one point. So it's very in flux.
So like what happens at that point when you see this CapEx heavy, with just obviously the data center build out, and sure enough, it's like, okay, yeah, well, we have all of this capacity, but there's no demand for it. And that's when you can see that house of cards really start to come into play, and then the collapse of specific names. And Micron might be at the forefront. At some point, again, we talk about the build out, things will cool down, and keep an eye out on that, because when they do, you're going to see an impact on a lot of these stocks names, especially Micron.
I had CSIQ over here, which I thought to be hilarious, because this company was really taking, Canadian Solar is the name, of the company. And I was invested in this. This was an Alfred pick back in the day. This was during the pandemic. And this thing just tanked. Well, with like all of solar lately, Joey. Let's look at this, what this one did. What a recovery, though, eh? Oh, look at this thing. It was like $6 in April of this year, and this thing's up to 34. I owned this thing at 46 back in the day, and it is really recovering now. I mean, back to 35 off that $6, $7 area. So good look here for Canadian Solar. Alfred told me it's run by like a couple, a husband and wife. I'm not sure how true that is, but in any event, CSIQ back up to 1.9 billion in market cap, so not a bad look there. Then just want to mention that super quick. Do you have anything that you want to cover here? Because we're done the news segment with about 8 minutes left.
Dude, I'm literally just sitting on my hands. I wrote in the chat. I took my attempts for the day, so I'm good with just chilling, really, and wait for something more precise. And if I don't find anything at all, I have no issues whatsoever. Look at Apple Go. This is a brand new intraday high, 281.
I like it.
280.94 to be exact.
I like it very much.
So it's just a steady bid and a grind. That was the first thing I said. I said, listen, I'm looking to trade the TQs. What do I have to do? I have to keep an eye on the Mag 7. I said, there was one name that I'm worried about.
Which one?
Apple.
Apple.
And sure enough, it's putting in a new high, man.
You were right.
So yeah, you just got to stick with that gut, and I'm glad that I didn't continuously try to knock this one on the head and go with the short, because it's one of those days where you would just be losing your ish, just being like, oh man, why isn't it going down? Why isn't it going down? And you're not looking at the right places. Apple continuing to climb higher, Amazon continuing to climb higher. You now have Google starting to rebound, Meta bouncing off of the volume weighted average price. And then we have Microsoft as well too. What has this guy been up to coming off of those highs? Still grinding and trading above the volume weighted average price. So if you ask me, no short in the TQs just yet. Be patient, wait until that 230 mark to see if the narrative changes, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, because it doesn't look like Apple wants to sell. It's a grinding bid. You're having those micro pullbacks, and there's no sellers engaged right now.
Well, it's a good thing. Let's bring up Apple here, because we did speak about it on Friday. There was a headline there about some Chinese demand. So we'll pull that bad boy up and speak about that super quick over here, Joey, since we ran out of topics. Give me a second to pull that up, Assassino. I'll just pull that up real quick. Where is that? There we go. We got it here, Joey. So Counterpoint said that Apple Counterpoint reports that Apple alone was responsible for lifting China's overall singles-day smartphone sales, accounting for 26% of all units. Total smartphone sales in China rose 3% year over year, but if you take Apple out of that, they actually dropped 5%, showing how heavily Apple propped up demand in China, something that we haven't seen in quite some time, I think since maybe 21 or 22. The iPhone 17 sales, Joey, recorded exceptionally strong momentum, outpacing competitors across the month-long promotion. We're talking about Singles Day, of course, which is more than a day. Even with heavy promotions, this year's Singles Day apparently disappointed in terms of consumer enthusiasm and broad-based demand recovery as the Chinese consumer continues to struggle somewhat. Smartphones, though, remain a standout area where consumers remain selective, showing willingness to buy only when brand value is high, and Apple, according to this article, remains the clear exception. Huawei, though, Joey, dropped in terms of market share from 17% last year down to 13%. A lot of it had to do with the Mate 80 coming out a little bit late, as well as Xiaomi, 17%. That remained normal, but their Xiaomi 17 launch cycle was a little bit off in timing as well. I don't know how I feel about Apple in China, because you're good with us one day and then you're not good the other day.
Yeah,
so
I mean, have you seen? Obviously, you've seen some of the smartphones in China. Hand gestures.
Oh yeah,
like the tech is crazy.
Plenty of stuff.
Did you watch the Marquez Brownlee on Siri?
Yes, he actually says it's not bad.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah.
So I use my phone in the car.
Yeah.
Voice, of course, because I wouldn't do that, Joey, right? And now when I search something with Siri, I can just either give it directly to chat. And if it doesn't know, it'll ask me, which is kind of cool. And then the new Apple, what's it called? Apple CarPlay has these widgets. So to the third screen now on Apple CarPlay, it only used to be two, like the main breakdown one, and then your icons one. There's a third one now that you have widgets, and there's a widget for ChatGPT. So I can hit the voice note on that, and I can have a conversation with Chat and remove Siri out of it completely.
Yeah.
So you can get the more thorough answers. So it's not a bad look there.
I think that's what a lot of people are doing, right? Like, just eliminating Siri and just going back to ChatGPT. But what I really want to see in Siri is just like the agentic kind of play with it, right? Like, take control of my phone for me. Like, when I want you to do something, just go ahead and do it.
Exactly.
It's the most simplistic thing. Like, you go, hey, Siri, text grandma. And sure enough, it can do that. But that's almost as far as it goes. It can't do anything. Can't modify your settings.
No, it's got to be a lot better.
You still have to do that manually.
100%.
Which is
and it should be able to understand what you're looking at on the screen and make suggestions.
Yeah.
So, for example, if a friend messages you something specific, maybe about a restaurant, it could give you like an option to click.
Hey, this is a comparable to the
something, man. Like something clever.
Has the Apple Pay come out? Has that text? You remember when they were talking about it? I think during the keynote.
Oh,
the
to
Apple
send money?
Pay, yeah.
I don't think so.
I think some of my friends in America.
They're using it.
Yeah, I think.
No, not that I know of personally yet.
I think that's something that needs to come into play as well too. Is just, hey man, you owe the group chat a little bit of cash. You can send the request. And
yeah, we were talking about that. That's exactly it.
Exactly.
All right, guys, here's what we got. Let's talk about this BYND. I don't know why. Let me double check. It's still up 18.66%. Let's have a look and see if anything new came in on BYND. I'm not seeing anything, guys.
We're frozen, Shreve. Yeah, we've been frozen, man.
The stream?
No, the quotes.
Oh, our quotes here,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I'm good on my platform. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. BYND. Let's have a look over here, Joey. It looks like we've got frozen quotes. So the big boys will be they'll be talking about that shortly. But BYND still trading near the highs, guys. 122. I'm still not seeing a reason for this breakout, but we did get the breakout there. I believe at around 1:15, maybe a little bit earlier. Looks like 1 o'clock. Really, we took out that previous day high at 102. It's up to $1.22 now. No real reason. This is saying bullish flow from BYND. Shares up 2.8%. Near options volume relatively light with 76,000 contracts traded and calls leading puts for put call ratio of 0.09 compared to the 0.47 implied volatility. Nothing really here suggesting why this is moving up, but it is moving up nonetheless. So BYND up 24%. From on the day, I should say. Also, CNCK, look, it's not at 790. which is the day high, but it's holding 7 and most notably holding this technical area of support at around 675, 680. VWAP a little bit higher than the half dollar, around low 60s or high 50s, but we're above 7 right now. I'd be looking for this area hold around 675, 650, and then a continuation back possibly through 8. And if we really get going here, we could see $10 on the day. CNCK, it's only up 117. I say only because FLYE was up over 200, almost 300. So there it goes, Joey, right back above 7, looking to take out 7.5 here. CNCK, I know the OG Bovin was all over this earlier on. He was holding from like 4 or 6 or something like that. So shout out to the OG Bovin for taking this one on. Did we trade CNCK? Yeah, we did. We traded it profitably. Not a bad look. FLYE, my biggest winner. CNCK, good. IRBT was my biggest loser, followed by HAMA. Those ones put me negative on the day. Otherwise, we would have had a decent day with FLYE and CNCK, but alas, we will end up negatory on the day. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better tomorrow. It's 2:01, Joey, send them off.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Same thing. We're looking to come back with a vengeance for tomorrow. Obviously, calm, cool, and collected, just like a cucumber. But at the end of the day, guys, hope everyone has a fantastic session. Keep those risk measures in place. And if it's not your day, it's not your day. Accept it, because we have 4 more left, and you still have half of a win here in today's trading session.
All right, guys.
So,
see everybody soon.